right now.
Welcome in, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. This would be Seminole Headlines. Good to be with you. It is for the first time that we are with you after a result. We got a game, boys. We got a game to reflect on. That's good news.
A different kind of result because, man, everywhere I've gone in town since that football game, people are fired up about this football team. I think the expectations must have been so low that people are like, wait a minute, they competed. And like they tried,
had a chance to win.
Came back and showed a little fight, little heart, and coming back like they did was something we hadn't seen in a minute.
I guess the somebody on the somebody within the program, not one of the coaches, but somebody in the program asked me, "Hey man, have you ever seen like fans give an ovation for the team after a loss?" And I was like, "I don't think so," but they did that night. And then people around town, just everybody's talking about how excited they are about Florida State football, and it's been a minute. So
I was at a gas station moments ago. You'd have been petrified. I was at
just interrupt you. Did you watch our rap video?
Yeah. 2 o'clock in the morning. His head's on a swivel.
Well, you got to be, man. Who knows what's coming?
I just pictured you at the parking lot now of a gas station.
Let's do that. Let's do our next live or our next post game at one of these death traps.
Growing up
in Tallahassee,
growing up on the Carter Boulevard. It created some issues for you, man, some trust issues.
Well, absolutely it did.
No, I was laughing a bit as I thought of you while I was at the gas station.
Daytime, right?
Broad daylight.
Okay,
just now.
That's the time to do it.
Yeah. I also noticed his head on a swivel. I'm like, man, they're just cleaning up around the place. It's going to be all right.
Well,
a couple of drunken students walking by. Nobody's trying to jack you after the game here. But that said, as I was leaving the gas station, this guy said, "Oh, hey, you're the radio guy." And I went, "That's me. I'm the radio guy." And he goes, "They didn't look real bad, did they? They look pretty good." I was like, you could just hear it in his voice. I was like, "Yeah, they did look pretty good, didn't they?" He's like, "Yeah, all right." That's all it was. So I do think there was a breath of fresh air, a sigh of relief, if you will. It's funny because you got a vocal group that thinks every team that Florida State fields is going to go 10-2, 11-1 every year. But I think that's just online. I think that by and large, the silent majority kind of really went into that game going, well, we'll see, boys. I don't know. Because it's been tough sledding. And at 38-20, that place didn't empty. And you and I made the point yesterday. I think everybody was shocked to see that. And I was there. I was watching that student section very closely. I was looking around thinking, all right, let's see what happens now, because they started to look a little inept, like they were in quicksand a little bit. And then next thing you know, they fight, they come down, they score, they get the 2-point conversion. Crowd gets back into it. That's the other part of the story is that was, I know you wrote about it, Corey, on warchant.com. That was another thing. It was a sight for sore eyes and certainly a wonderful sound for the ears to hear. The fans into it before the game, during the game, at the appropriate spots. After the game. I mean, it was an electric atmosphere, one that we had hoped we'd see, but that team provided that because of that fight.
Especially, I thought, it was pretty loud the whole game, but especially after they cut it to 38-35, Milton had just given the crowd even more juice than it had, and then it's 3rd down and long, and that place was jumping around like it was Camp Randall. You know what I mean? It was like it was Inner Sandman type stuff. That place, I don't know, maybe the Oklahoma game, maybe the Notre Dame game from 14. There hadn't been many moments in the last decade. In 13, they were just up by so much, it didn't really matter. But there hadn't been many moments in the last decade where that place felt that loud and that electric. And to have that kind of showing on national TV, I know you lost, but to have that kind of showing with those recruits in that stadium where you don't have to point to 2014 and say, hey, look what Doak can be when you're rocking again. They experienced it. They don't have to go watch something on YouTube to see Doak Campbell Stadium rocking and energized and electric. They saw it firsthand. That speaks volumes.
Let's circle back for just a second here. He could put the phone there.
I can't. It screws with my audio. I can't hear.
Okay,
is it really?
Yeah. That's why every time you put your phone out, I
thought it was just being a grab.
I know.
You're like, what is this guy doing?
I thought I'd made that abundantly clear the last two shows.
This doesn't tell me anything.
No, the last 2 shows when you've done
never
it and I've
said
asked you to move.
You've just done this.
Right.
I don't know what
people think I'm just distracted by a phone.
Good thing we're live and we're not recorded like back in the day. We're using some different language right now.
So the bottom line is, let's circle back to what led up to all of this, which was
I'm going to put my phone next to yours. Where's yours?
It's hidden over that right corner. You can't do it. So we have a great night on Friday night at Horizons, obviously, and everybody comes out, and that was really cool to see. And the Register sausage shirts were amazing. By
Stephanie
the way,
wore hers to the game on Sunday. Yeah, the
I
Yay
didn't
sausage.
get one, by the way. I didn't get one.
And Mike put the Register sausage in the mac and cheese bites.
Forget about it.
Good stuff, man. It was great.
And Heather Birch.
I got
was
to
there
meet
for
her.
Yeah,
We're best friends now.
Yeah. So we all had a great time. And then, of course, on Saturday, we were at Corner Pocket, listener appreciation party, and really kind of kick off to the year. That was fantastic. Everybody was great there. And it was nice to see everybody. We watched some football. Watch Alabama hammer Miami, and we'll see if the Canes quit. They're on quit watch. That's
tough,
typically
though. Hopefully they understand what they. Well, not hopefully.
No.
You want them to think,
like
we're terrible.
Do. Yeah, that'd be a good thing. Yeah. So they're on quit watch.
That doesn't usually come in early September. Though.
No,
they're ahead of schedule.
Yeah. So, but then the buildup was, and it seemed interminable. But we had to wait till Sunday night, and then the game happened. And I thought you could tell, even though they score on a busted play on 4th down in the first drive, I thought just the opening couple of tackles, guys weren't catching tackles.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, you were like, okay, they're here to hit. And Jermaine Johnson made a difference immediately. The second you saw him, you go, well, that's different. I mean, there were indicators, even though that led to 7 points pretty quickly, you thought, all right. But then they did get the test that I'd been begging for, which was what happens when something goes wrong? Well, something went wrong in a hurry. Their offense was horrible to start. They looked like Mickey Mouse, just little kids out there getting blown up with screens and draws and nonsense. And Notre Dame is flying around. It's 4th down. You're punting from your freaking end zone right off the bat. It's a bad snap.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that was a great play.
I'm like, listen, what are we doing out here? This is hideous. I mean,
my man, Mastromano. That was, that was a
great
play.
Athletic.
Yeah.
He's an athlete back there.
So all of it that could go wrong. You're down 7. Notre Dame's got good field position. You looked terrible on offense.
Yeah.
You're staring it right in the face right here, right now. And this team was not last year's team or the year before or the year before. They were F that. We're going to play. Let's go. And then I kind of breathed a sigh of relief. And then really the rest of the game, the fight was
even
apparent.
then, that moment, I'm going to test out that cough button one of these times. I want to see.
Can
you hear me? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Well, the cough button's ridiculous. It doesn't work. So that moment and then the 38-20 moment. You know, when it got 38-20, I'm like, okay, this is going to be 52-20, and we're going to try to sell that they've made some big improvements because I thought they had. I thought it looked different.
Had too, even then.
But it still looked like it was going to be 45 or 52-20 or 52-27. And then for them to come back and have that drive, Travis to have that drive to cut it to 10 to get the stop, and then I that was really encouraging too to see them bounce back from that because that's when a game gets out of hand. The momentum clearly was on Notre Dame's side. Florida State just gave up 3 straight touchdowns, and you're like, okay, well that's a wrap. It was cool for 2.5 quarters, but clearly the better team is taking control of this game. And afterwards, I'm not sure who the better team was.
Oh, I am. Notre Dame's the better team.
Florida State gave them some stuff, though. It wasn't as if Florida State played incredibly and Notre Dame played terribly, and that's what happened. If Jack Cohn doesn't have the game of his life, by the way, good job there calling that. He's a right-handed Hornibrook, huh?
He's not a very good player.
I mean, he was Sunday night.
He had a good game. He made one great throw.
He was fine. He didn't make any bad throws. And he had 2 drops.
He should have been picked off early with that. He should have been picked. There were 2.
Here he goes. So you're saying that Cohn wasn't good on Sunday night?
He was good on Sunday night.
All right. Well,
I granted. But do you think Cohn's a good quarterback?
We'll see.
Do you think Cohn's a good quarterback?
Yes. From what I've seen.
So let's see who wins this bet by the end of the season. Right? Let's go, prisoner of the moment. Let's go.
Because that is going to be a downside. Is he's not going to play that well
he
the rest of the season.
He won't play that well the rest of the season.
That was kind of my point is that Florida State didn't play overly well, I thought. Certainly not on offense. They gave away a lot. And then they had 3 interceptions. They had 9 penalties. Cohn had the game of his life. And still it went to overtime. So I think Notre Dame talent for talent is better.
You know they are.
But I think that 7 points is about right. Like, I don't think they're 20 points better or 28 points better like they were last year. I know the score was 16, but last year it felt like they were 28 to 30 points better. I didn't feel like that at all on Sunday night.
Go make your point, Ira, because I want to retort to this.
Well, I was just going to say that if Florida State had played like an A game and Notre Dame played the way they did, Florida State would have won the game. But Florida State couldn't win that game without playing at a real high level, whereas Notre Dame could win it with not playing their best game.
Yeah, but so y'all thought Florida State played at a high level?
No. I mean, I thought, I'm saying
but they would have won. They almost won the game despite it.
I'm saying if both teams played at a high level, Notre Dame wins.
Sure.
I think Florida State would have had to play almost, not a perfect game. This isn't USF in 2009. Or whatever.
You're not BJ Daniels. I mean, you got to play. Absolutely.
But they would have had to play at a really, really high level, and Notre Dame play a little bit below what they could play.
I picked Notre Dame under their win total this year because I thought they'd take a step back. but I think in the draft will bear this out. They have better players than Florida State. There's no question they do. And they've had continuity at the head coaching position. So the only thing I would say to you is that I really believe at 38-20, Notre Dame made a terrible decision. And they went soft, and they played a soft front. And the credit goes to Florida State's coaching staff for taking it and running the ball and not panicking, trying to get points too quickly. They recognized, you want to play off with 5 minutes to go in the third quarter?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll run the ball now, and we'll go down and score, and, we'll chip away. And then what happened was once Florida State got back in it, I would even dare say it within 10. Now Notre Dame's got to get some first downs. Well, they can't run the ball.
Right.
They can't run the ball, and that's another area where Florida State's improved immensely. They could not run against the Florida State front four. So now all of a sudden, your ability to run out the clock, which was what the goal was when you were playing soft, because you're allowing yards. You want a long drive. You want Florida State to go on a 7-minute drive, and if they score, they score. But whatever. Now we're deep into the fourth quarter. You're in trouble. Well, the problem is Florida State scores, and then they have to give it right back 3 and out because they can't run the ball at all. And that's where Florida State's gotten a lot better. I think
that a lot better than any of us could have imagined.
Sure,
I think,
right?
right?
Yeah.
And when the game pressure started, Cone got worse.
He did.
That last sack he took, I think it was his last sack. I mean, he looked like me, just like
he went into a shell.
Went
into a shell. Yeah, I think that's the way he'll look often this year. But anyhow, that said, he played a good game. I'm not going to deny that he made a dime of a throw in the back right corner.
That was crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's a great throw.
And the ones down the sideline, the one in the end zone where Travis Shea overran it. That's
just a bad throw. He underthrew it.
The one that beat Brownlee for like a 30 or 35 yard play. He put it in a perfect. He made a couple incredible throws. He seemed to always find that tight end. The tight end dropped to that. It wouldn't have even go to overtime if that kid had caught those 2 balls.
Imagine if he would have had 11 catches for nearly 200 yards.
It's like Heath Miller up in here.
He is considered
He's really good.
The top 2 or 3 tight end in the country.
Butterfingers is what I call him.
Well, because Ira made a good point last night on this, and that is because Florida State bothered to hit people, so you give them something to think about a little bit. Sidney
Williams is going to come up and hit you, man. He might not be the best cover safety in the world, but he'll come up and hit you.
And he might miss a tackle.
But he's coming at you, and if he hits you, you're going backwards.
But there's a suddenness to this defense that didn't exist a year ago.
Mickey Andrews was out there at practice today, and he had some good things to say about the defense. And just talking to him, and he in that point, we had that conversation about when you start hitting people, it affects their play. Not just quarterbacks, but receivers and running backs too. They start to make some business decisions. But if you don't do that, man, it's like a picnic. They'll just take whatever they want.
Did he say Deloach remind him of all of Derek Brooks?
No.
Actually,
I'm asking Ira. He talked to Mickey Andrews.
The answer would be no. He didn't say that.
What did he say?
First thing he said when I walked up, 20.
Next Derek Brooks.
20 is an awful lot like 10.
He might be 210.
You would have come here
twice
today.
As good.
Off the air, you'd have been like, I'm getting worried about Mickey.
He said Glenn Deloach just like Derek Brooks.
No, I think that we saw some things that we were excited about in camp, which was the front four, translate into being good in a game. I actually kind of like this secondary. I think they're going to get better each game. They were in position to make plays. They should have had a couple of picks, actually. And then I also think that some of our fears came true. I don't think the linebackers are real good. Deloach plays hard, and he's pretty – they're lacking in some areas at linebacker, and we knew that.
We knew that, though, right?
We knew that.
But, at least Deloach will fill a hole, try to.
And against the run, I like Lundy a lot.
Yeah, so they at least were physical, and Deloach made some really nice effort plays, including on the ridiculous screen pass, call, blitz. But they're not going to be great. We know they're not going to be great, but that defensive line could be good enough if they stay healthy that they don't have to be a great.
Remember this too, that Notre Dame, I understand, they replaced 4 of their starting 5 offensive linemen. They may have had communication issues, I don't know, but Notre Dame is an offensive line factory.
Yeah.
And they have coached the position, recruited the position exceptionally well. So the guys that replace the guys are always good.
And they brought in an All-American. So what I will tell you is... We finally got King Madden to tally, by the way.
Was the slingshot there? Did he see the slingshot?
What I will tell you is that most of the offensive lines that Florida State faces are not going to be of that pedigree. And so this defensive line, which fared well against that offensive line, especially against the run, and generated a pass rush, is going to have opportunities in some of these other 50-50 games to really take the games over. Let's hope it happens against Wake Forest in a couple of weeks, which is a game we all circled, and still now, to me, feels like the biggest early season game. This game gives you hope. That game would confirm it.
Or rob you of it.
You have got to go win that game. I'm nervous talking about it. They got to go win that game to back up what we saw, because they're going to win the game this weekend. They could go through the motions and they'll win this game.
It'd be nice if they didn't.
It'd be nice, but I understand if they did.
It's
short
the Wake
week.
Forest. It's the Wake Forest game where people are going to be like, if you go up there and win, play well, then you got some real momentum. Man. You got some real momentum.
Well, we all watched Louisville last night. That's a program ready to call it a day.
Yikes!
I don't think Satterfield has much going for him over there right now.
Man.
That doesn't look like a team who wants to play football.
Bleak.
Yeah, it's a bleak about, and Syracuse is ass. So you've got some wins here, man.
Not a great start for the ACC.
Woo!
I think
Thank God I don't walk around waving the flag for the ACC.
I was
It's about Florida State, baby.
You think Florida State and like Virginia Tech probably had the two most impressive opening weekend?
Virginia
games?
won handily.
Who'd they play?
They covered easily.
It was like
William and Mary.
William and Mary, I think it was.
I mean, of course. Why would Virginia play anybody else but William and Mary?
Let me tell you something. Syracuse would have lost to William and Mary.
Sure.
So I'm just pointing it out there.
But if you're looking from a national scene, like, Herb Street was talking Florida State up. Luganville's been talking Florida State up. Like you can just see a difference in the way they looked and the way they fought, the way they played, came back, scored 38 on Notre Dame, which never happens. Nobody does that. It's a team that you're excited about, even in a loss, whether the kick goes in or not. It came down to missed kicks or made kicks. I didn't think that was going to happen before the game. And I think when you look at the totality of that game, you have a reason to be genuinely excited about the direction of the program.
The only thing that kind of stinks is I'm not looking forward to what's the conversations about the quarterbacks that we're about to have.
That sounds
already
like started. That sounds like a tease into the next.
Let's talk about it next.
Yeah. Ooh.
There you go. Look at this guy.
Put your phone back next to my.
Serving it up there. Yeah. Go ahead. Make it all static. It doesn't matter if you're going to serve up teases like that. Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
Barry knows cool. He's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool. You can put him to the test.
Your home has been a place of great comfort. We can help you keep it that way. Barno Heating and Air is helping you get ready for summer with $1,500 off select new units, 0% financing for qualified buyers, plus worry-free maintenance plans. Learn more or schedule online at BarnoAC.com. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barno Heating and Air today. For license CAC 1816186.
I call Swain Pools and Spas. Now I'm soaking up the fun when I want to.
I called Tallahassee Car Care and they're fixing my car when I want to.
Hey, what are you doing? This is a Swain Pools and Spas commercial.
I'm turning it into a Tallahassee Car Care commercial.
But Swain Pools and Spas is a full-service shop offering sales, renovation, supplies, and more for years.
And Tallahassee Car Care is a full-service shop offering brake and tire service, batteries, oil changes, and more for years.
But people go to Swain Pools for quality and reliability. Nobody knows more about pools and spas, and Swain has new Caldera spas in stock right now.
And people go to Tallahassee Car Care for their 5-star service at great prices, with most maintenance done by their certified technicians while you wait.
You know what? Just look for the big Swain sign on West Tharp Street, because Swain Pools and Tallahassee Car Care are under the same roof. Online at SwainPools.com.
Online at TallahasseeCarCare.com.
Swain Pools and Spas.
Hey guys, it's Greg Tish. It's summertime, it's grilling time. But with a grill that just won't light, you're just going to end up with the summertime blues. Yeah, blues and barbecue go hand in hand, but if you get a custom outdoor kitchen built from Hearth and Patio, you'll feel like a rock star every time those flames kick on. They also sell a full line of incredible high-end grills like Fire Magic, Blaze, and Broil Master, all designed to deliver the ultimate in beauty, performance, and durability. Everything you need to elevate your grilling experience can be found at Hearth and Patio. In fact, anything related to fire can be found at Hearth and Patio. Fire pits, gas lighting, indoor and outdoor fireplaces, wood stoves, and even custom-built pizza ovens. Go see for yourself. Check out their services and products online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com. That's hearthpatiotallahassee.com, or give them a call, 850-727-4282. That's 850-727-4282. At Hearth and Patio, they keep the home fires burning.
If you're worried about your hard-earned dollars becoming worthless or your 401k or IRA losing value, now is the time to move into gold. No, not gold or silver stocks, but real gold and silver you can actually hold in your hands. How do you get real gold and silver? By calling Oxford Gold today at 833-600-GOLD. The Oxford Gold Group will teach you everything you need to know about owning real gold and silver. It's a lot easier than you think. Call the Oxford Gold Group right now at 833-600-GOLD to get your free gold and silver investment guide. Put your savings and retirement accounts into something real, like gold and silver. Get your free Oxford Gold Group investment guide today and learn how easy it is to have real gold and silver delivered to your home, or how you can have real gold and silver in your retirement account. Don't sit back and watch your savings in a retirement account suffer. Now is the time to make your money work as hard for you as you did for your money. So do this. Call the Oxford Gold Group right now, today, 833-600-GOLD. That's 833-600-GOLD.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Yeah, I'm supposed to talk. I forget that we don't have sometimes a little bumper here on the Seminole Headlines 93.3 version.
We don't need a bumper.
We don't need a bumper. We don't. I went back and caught up because I wasn't on the stream there for a second, and now I'm caught up here. There is a sense a lot of people noted that they're still kind of exhausted from Sunday night. I think we all feel a little bit of that, whether that's because the game ended very late, but also there was an emotional investment. I'm happy to be that kind of exhausted.
And it wasn't just the game, though, man. That whole game was just such a journey because you had, the first game with a packed house in 2 years. You had the Bobby Bowden tribute, which was awesome. The Marching Chiefs that was awesome. Amazing Grace.
Yeah.
And then
were you in the stadium for that? I know you were, but did you have your cell phone light up?
I did.
That was
with your dad.
I recorded it.
Oh, look at you.
I've got it here. If you'd like to watch it during the
you
show,
can put it on our Warchant
I can do it
YouTube.
right here if you
Why don't
want.
you put it on our Warchant YouTube
Well,
feed?
everybody had access to it. I mean, you guys could have done that live, whatever. I mean,
hey, man, you got to get the likes. The
Yeah, man,
retweets.
we're trying to get subscriptions up on that thing.
there, you got it. I got it going right here. There it
Nice.
is on the screen.
Perfect.
Yeah, I had good seats there. You can see that. It's
Yeah.
It's about
And
the
you're with your dad.
45-yard line.
That is
with
nice.
Pops.
That's a good spot.
Yeah.
How'd your old man? Did he enjoy it?
He did. He had a good time.
Is he excited?
We could have at least got. We could have got a.
Is that going to flag it now on YouTube?
Little Amazing Grace. That won't flag. It was all 3 seconds. We'll see.
We'll see Tom Lang freaking out.
I got that in there.
What's the next game he's coming to? Because I was thinking we could.
He comes to all of them, but
you
he's
could
not
take-
gonna, except for this weekend. He's going to skip the old Jacksonville State game.
I was just thinking you could take one quarter in one of our seats, another quarter in the other one's seats,
And then you guys can come down into the stands
just for a quarter.
He legitimately, so at Horizons at that Friday night thing we did, Stephanie came up and said, "Hey, I'm a member of the Dead Dad Club too." And your dad was like, "What?" And you're like, "What?"
He's like, "We're going to talk about our dead dads." Is that what we're doing here?
He's like, "Oh, okay." And
his
he's like,
died when he was 19.
yeah, and she's like, "Oh, do you not know?" And I had to explain to him, like, "Look, Jeff kind of makes fun of me and Ira for having
Which
lost
is
our
also
dads."
not
100%
true.
And
accurate.
he was
100%.
horrified when I said that. The way I phrased it, he's like, "He does what?" And I'm like, "No, actually, we make fun of ourselves." And he just jokes that he loves getting a chance to talk to you, and that's how.
I
that's
just
part
point
of
out that my dad is very much here.
Yeah.
What's funny though is a
So
couple.
he embraced me at the end. He gave me a big hug, legitimately.
He kissed you on the head.
And he kissed me in the head as I fell into his arms.
felt good.
It felt really good, actually.
What a
It's been
moment.
10
the
years.
a couple of the guys I was talking to at Horizons also were like, they're like, "Oh, that's Jeff's dad," and we're like, "Yeah, that's Jeff's dad," and they're like, "Hey, we lost our dads too." Like,
Yeah.
all right,
Yeah, he represents the dad to all. He's a dad to all those who need dads.
The oddity was there were perfect strangers who caught wind of this, just started walking up. I kind of felt bad for my dad. It started
Now
an
we know.
avalanche. I mean, there were a couple of guys walked up. "Hey, my name is Hank from Kentucky. I lost my dad a year ago. I hear that you give hugs."
Yeah, let's have a catch. I got my catcher's mitt in the truck.
Can you watch a video with me?
Yeah.
My dad would have loved to have seen his grandson.
Here's your
but
grandson.
Don't you love him? Isn't he beautiful? He looks just like your dad.
So yeah, he gets that every week he comes up now.
Yeah. So he won't be here this weekend.
But then they have the whole McKenzie Milton thing.
Yeah,
You got
that
the Dylan
became
Gibbons
the
with-
bigger that became a bigger story nationally, I think, than clearly than Florida State being close to back or being better, whatever you want to call it. The game itself was McKenzie Milton, which is cool. It's a great story. It's just we're in it, so we don't appreciate it. Maybe that the average college football fan, how cool it was to see that.
Yeah, and I was retweeting like Chris Doring and like UF people who were like, "Hey man, I don't like
really
anything
cool.
about Florida State, but this is awesome."
UCF was tweeting like
Oh,
the
yeah,
UCF
they did a
football
really good
account
job with
tweeted
it,
a
yeah.
cool thing about it. Yeah, it's neat.
Okay, now I'm ready to move on though, and
right.
because it's going to
now it's about
going to be
football.
like Nick O'Leary, the grandson. It's okay.
Mm.
I get it. It's about the football. He's here. He's ready to play. And what gets more interesting now is how this gets worked out. And it's going to be important. We've all been probably on a lot of different shows. People want to talk about that game. And one of the things that I've kind of fought to clarify, and also for our listeners and for the fan base, it's not like they just swung and missed by not recognizing McKenzie Milton's ability. That's not how this camp played out. It's not, first of all, they were the ones who tried to woo McKenzie Milton based on that ability. They definitely brought him in here to play. You don't ask that guy to come over so he can sit the bench. So their intentions were for him to play. But you also then, as you bring both quarterbacks to the ACC kickoff, and you ask that they continue to compete and fight for a job, you cannot let one guy who's out there almost every day and having, I might add, a great camp.
I would not use the word great, but
I thought Jordan Travis had a great camp.
He was having a better camp than the guy he was competing with.
Well,
for a variety of reasons.
Wasn't even close.
One of which being
he was available,
getting a lot more reps.
Easily a good camp.
Yeah,
not average, not okay.
He
was
had
having
a
a good
very
camp.
good camp. And by the standards of a year ago, he took a massive leap forward.
The standards of Florida State quarterback play over the last 5 years.
Yeah. So he had played so much better. Then McKenzie comes here, and you would like to believe that if he's able to practice as much as he would like to himself and as much as the coaches need him to, that, he might end up winning the job. But it wasn't like the coaches were watching these two guys every day in practice and they were dead even and they went, let's go with Jordan. That didn't happen. And I'm trying to explain to people, while being delicate, about the time missed from McKenzie, about the reasons why with load management and whatever else, that it wasn't so simple. You can't just say, well, thanks for competing, even though this is pretty obvious to everybody what happened here in camp. I'm going to go ahead and start this other guy, because you'll lose these other players.
There's nobody. I didn't hear one person around the program over the last month say McKenzie Milton need to be the starter.
Now
here we are, though.
Here we are. We have arrived, and there's two things at play that are also true. And that is that when McKenzie Milton got in there, there's no question the drop back passing game improves immediately.
Right.
His decision-making, how quick he gets the ball out of his hand, he makes up for an average arm with that quick release. And I think he just understands what he's looking at from the pocket. And sadly, Jordan didn't look appreciably better from the pocket than he did a year ago. He looked uneasy, uncomfortable, at times really kind of ran when he didn't have to. There were rare moments that there was a pocket. He wouldn't climb it. So now you do have a dilemma in the sense that, okay, I got a guy that when the lights came on could really operate as a passer. What do they have to see from him week to week in practice? Can it be a thing where he's very limited in practice, but they just trust that when the games start, he's going to play well? Or does he have to be available to them during install to make sure that he's getting the requisite reps to be the starting quarterback? I wonder.
Every indication right now is he's able to practice. We were out there today. They were both out there practicing, so everything's fine from that standpoint. And that's a good sign. He did get tackled, and he was able to practice a couple days later. That's a good sign. But I think there's a couple things I do want to bring up about that game before we move forward. This was a season opener and I wrote about it on the site, that Notre Dame had all offseason to prepare for. And that's a different animal than when you face a team during the regular season. And they had a new defensive coordinator, and you're going up against the kid that really ran the ball well against you last year. And they know more about Mike Norvell and this offense than Jordan Travis, than Florida State knew what Notre Dame was going to be doing, because they have a new coordinator. And I really think whoever started at quarterback was probably going to have a tough time in that game. The one thing to remember is McKenzie Milton,
at least early on.
Yeah.
Like Devontae Love Taylor said yesterday on Trench Talk, Warchant. They saw some things, and I think Norvell even said that afterwards. They did some things that they hadn't prepared for at all. They hadn't seen it all on film. Mm-hmm. And that was confusing.
First games
the line.
Do that to coaches all the time.
Confusing the line, confusing the coordinators, confusing the quarterback.
So that didn't help. And then you get the pressure that I'm sure Jordan Travis feels, knowing that, man, a lot of people in those stands want to see the other guy in the game. And so now you get game pressure and all that. So I just want to put that out there, that I think you're going to see Jordan Travis play better, because what people are coming to us with is, what the hell were you guys talking about? He looks like the same guy that we saw in the past. Number one, I would say he doesn't. I thought he threw the ball, the pass to Parchment he doesn't make last year. The pass to Ja'Kai Douglas he probably doesn't make last year. So I think he was better, even all that considered. But I think you're going to see him play better in general anyway. And I think the thing you got to remember about McKenzie Milton is, it's a big difference putting him in for a couple series where he threw 5 passes versus saying, hey, man, now start the game on that leg that we don't know how it's going to, when you get rolled into.
And with this offensive line.
With this offensive line.
You're going to be able to move all,
so I'm
escape
not
all that.
campaigning for Jordan Travis. I just think it's a lot more complicated than, hey, we've got this guy and this
Well,
guy.
it's always more nuanced. The greater discussion is more nuanced there. I do think if he's healthy and able to rep, he'll be the starting quarterback. McKenzie Milton, that is. I do think he will be. Now, there are going to be games where with this offensive
you think this
line.
Week?
I don't know about this week. I mean, probably. If
I think this week, whoever starts, I think it's weirdly, I think it'll probably be the tryout for Wake Forest.
They're both going to play. We both know
they'll
that.
both play, and whoever looks the best, or if McKenzie looks like he did and holds up, I think you go into Wake Forest probably with him as your starter. And again, it's Jacksonville State, so it's hard to know. But if you can run the ball like you did with McKenzie Milton at quarterback, that's what surprised me.
But again, at that point that he comes in, they backed off. They're up 18.
They backed off because they also backed off because McKenzie Milton was in the game.
Yeah,
like you know what I mean? So
Sure.
that gives you an extra, like, it works both ways. Like I think the running backs had some seams and some holes because a lot of attention was focused on Jordan Travis
early on, just like all of last year with the running game.
And then McKenzie Milton comes in and they have to back off, and that opens up some lanes and some holes. So they both. It was encouraging to see that they could run the ball. I mean, I think in his last 2 drives he might have completed 1 pass. Like it was all run. That was very encouraging to see moving forward. That no matter who I thought if they were going to run for 300 yards or close to it against Notre Dame, number one, I would have never dreamed that. Jordan would have had a half of them. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Jordan had 9 yards rushing, and they had 268.
Yeah, well, we factor in sacks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
he had 1 run.
He had the one
run, and that was his last play of the game. Like he didn't really do anything with his legs other than the escape to find Parchment.
And I think you got to give some of that credit to Notre Dame, and they got him out of sorts. I mean, I'm not saying Jordan played well; he did not play well. I'm just saying that was a unique situation, and I get it. People aren't going to buy that because they only know what they saw last year. But spring happened and camp happened. He's just got to translate it to Saturdays and calm down.
I think, and I want to see that happen because I know how hard he's worked, but he never seems to play in rhythm in the passing game. There's just no drop back foot hits the ground, ball comes out.
Yeah,
I gotta see that from Jordan, and hopefully we will. I'm not saying it's impossible.
Are you tailoring offense that it's not around that? Like he did. I didn't think he played well at all. Really, I didn't think he played nearly as well as he could have. And I made this point. They still put up 28 points and had him at midfield in the 4th quarter. Like 3 years ago, think about what 2 years ago. 28 points against Notre Dame was not happening. They weren't close to it. They couldn't have done it.
Yeah, they had like 340 yards of offense and 28 points with like 9 minutes to go in the 4th quarter.
And he didn't play well. He didn't play overly well. So that it was 9 of 19 with 3 picks. So imagine him playing a little bit better, what that would mean. But yes, I do think, I think McKenzie sees it quicker, which is that's the thing more than anything, right? He sees it better and quicker. That's it. That's the difference.
Yeah, I mean, if he's healthy, he's one of the best quarterbacks
but
in the
you have
country.
to keep Jordan Travis involved, engaged, and in part of the game plan as well.
Well, that's the thing. You just look at the sideline, and my man's got a massager on his leg during a game to try to keep blood flow, whatever they have to do to keep. And people are acting like, hey, man, why don't you just throw him out there?
No, it's precarious.
We don't know that he can play 70 snaps of football, and we don't know.
And a lot of people are going to ask that question. Like, you played, you're 5 of 7, and we're over here worried about your leg already and limited action. It is disconcerting. And so I think it's going to be a fluid situation all season long. No matter what fans want, they're going to have to monitor it series by series, which is less than ideal, but all right, we'll see. You're also not going to be playing Notre Dame every week. Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio continues in a moment.
Your local news now.
Leon County Humane Society is paying it forward to St. Landry Animal Control in Louisiana, a shelter already at full capacity, taking on animals either surrendered or lost due to Hurricane Ida. Leon County Humane Society is facing full capacity and is always looking for more help themselves. Executive Director Lisa Glunt remembers the amount of assistance that was needed during Hurricane Michael and says that's why they're stepping up despite challenges they face every day. LCHS is also helping evacuees that came to Tallahassee with pet food assistance. Glunt says community support is the only way all of this is possible, and the Humane Society will always be by the community side. 3 truckloads full of donations from the community and local businesses are making such an impact that LaForge Parish Sheriff Craig Webray shares how much this means to them on their road to recovery. Franklin County will be delivering 1 more load of essential donations to LaForge Parish on Wednesday. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by McEnmore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at McEnmoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Chance for scattered thunderstorms this afternoon, otherwise partly cloudy skies. Highs around 88, southerly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance for scattered thunderstorms tonight, 73. Partly cloudy skies. Cloudy skies with a few peaks of sun tomorrow. Scattered thunderstorms likely, high of 84. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 89.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
We have Ben Shapiro.
No one likes Cuomo, right? The problem is that Andrew Cuomo has spent the last several years crapping all over everyone in the Democratic Party, and now they are coming for their revenge. Do we really think the principle has broken out here, or do we think that it's just a good time for Democrats to jettison Cuomo? They got what they wanted out of him last year. Now he's no longer useful to them, and so now they're going to dump his body by the side of the road.
Ben Shapiro. Weekdays from 3 to 5 p.m. on Tallahassee's Real Talk station. Real Talk 93.3.
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Good to be back. 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. It is Seminole Headlines. Man, you're right. I don't want to see this debate rage on for weeks on end.
And can I just, one more thing on this?
Here we go.
All right, this is old man lecturing the young people. And I don't know how many students listen to Seminole Headlines, but if you do, spread the word.
A lot. Probably
spread the word. You can't boo Jordan Travis. And I had a couple of people tell me that
Did somebody boo them?
That's what a couple of
I
people
did not
told
hear
me.
that.
I know. And I've heard differing viewpoints. Some people said no. I've had a few people tell me that they did hear boos. Just say this. And the person that made the comment to me from within the program was like, look, man, that didn't work well for James Blackman. Like, that doesn't help. And so what happens is the fans are booing a decision. They're not necessarily booing the kid. They're booing, hey, that's not who we want in the game, and we're trying to let you know.
Yeah, circumstantial.
That's not it's not gonna change the coach's opinion. And all it does is, I mean, it can affect a kid. So I'm not saying it has affected him. I'm not saying he heard it. I'm just saying that's not what you need to do.
I'll say this as somebody in the stands I never heard it. So it had to have been a smattering. So I did not hear it at all.
And I would feel like if he was booed, it was probably on the boos probably came after the 4th down interception. It couldn't have been like, I can't even envision a scenario where it became before that. And on the 4th down interception, I truly think you're booing the fact that you went for it on 4th down and it didn't work out and you just gave them the ball at your 33, not get this slap you out of here quarterback. I could be wrong.
But also the problem is if you do boo on offense, how does the quarterback know who it is?
Sure.
But Blackman,
maybe
the thing with Blackman
was
the end was awful.
Yeah, but he wasn't this guy. And we can say don't boo him. You don't boo. You shouldn't boo him. But and I don't know who did. I don't know if it was students. I hope it wasn't boosters. And
we're gonna come find him.
We're gonna come find him. Yeah, but because that's Devin's brother. Don't boo Devin's family. That's Devin's blood. But he responded well. His last drive was a touchdown, and then he had him out to the 50 again. So it wasn't like, unlike, say, the last quarterback, he didn't spiral into goo. He remember Felipe Franks, like when he scored the touchdown,
and then taunt his own fans,
his own crowd. Yeah, he shushed Gator fans.
I do think they're going to need both guys. I mean, that's what we've
100%.
So I think the quicker fans get their minds wrapped around that and support both of them and hope that the coaching staff can figure out a way to use both of them to their strengths. That's going to be the best situation. I don't think you can expect either one.
And I made
guys.
this analogy, Jeff. I know you're about to say something, but
go ahead.
It's time for me. You got shows all the time.
Yeah, I'm tired of doing shows.
I made this analogy about Javi Baez.
Uh-huh.
He's a productive baseball player, right? He's a productive major league hitter, but he can be pretty maddening to watch a lot of the times. He'll swing at balls
that are bouncing
that go over the net.
Yeah.
Tom knows. He's a Mets fan.
Yeah.
A pitcher will bounce one. It'll be like a highlight roll or something, and he'll swing at one that doesn't even get to the dirt. But he also finishes the season with 33 homers and 100 RBIs, and you can't say he's not a productive baseball player.
Right.
Does Jordan Travis have some of that in him where he can look Javi Baez-ish at times, but he still put up 28 points and had 3 touchdowns against Notre Dame.
But you just can't run your offense right now with him. If your offense is a drop back passing offense at all, you just, that element is not there for him.
Right.
And I think that, yes, you can get away with it here and there. It's like having those days where he's going to go 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts, and you're going to be like, man, that's not going to help us win games.
Yeah.
Jordan's going to have games where there's nothing in the passing game but him running around.
I would say it's
and you're
more
gonna
like
be what's the problem?
He goes 2 for 5 with 3 strikeouts, a home run, and a double. Like, is that?
No, I'd take that all day long.
Well, sure you would, but the 3 strikeouts might come with the bases loaded. Like it's all about context. But he seems like a really he led 4 touchdown drives.
It's feast or famine, but I think it's going to be that way with either one of those guys because of the offensive line issues.
I think the difference is we haven't yet seen it yet with Milton, and we have seen it for 6 games. Only 6 games now with Jordan. 2 of his 6 games have been against Notre Dame.
Because part of the problem is the pass protection. If you get in 2nd and long or 3rd and long, they have no chance.
Yeah, well, they have not been able to.
That's not going to change depending on who the quarterback is.
No, but the ways of mitigating that rush are very different for the 2 quarterbacks.
Yes.
One will pre-snap and know exactly where he's going now, and the rush won't get there because it's going to be out of his hand. Now, you may be really short of the first down, but he's not going to sit there and wait to get hit. And the other way that it's combated is that Jordan's going to make that guy miss. And then he breaks contain, and who knows? We may have a miracle play. James writes and gave us a tip. Appreciate that, James.
There you go, James.
But I think this is pertinent to the 2 quarterbacks here because I think one of the answers involves Jordan Travis. Hello, fellas. What is going to be the miracle cure for stopping procedure in the ongoing offensive penalties? 2 illegal downfield calls this game. It's been 4 years, 4 staffs, and the problem still persists. The illegal man downfield stuff, that's going to happen a lot with Jordan Travis.
Because they think he's running.
Well, because he is.
He does run.
He's running around all damn day. You're going to go. You're taught to hit somebody, not just stand there. And so those guys, that's any quarterback that runs, by the way. That happens in the NFL as well. But that's a big part of who he is. You're going to get those calls because he's running around trying to make something happen. I think you'll see fewer of the illegal man downfield calls when McKenzie Milton's at quarterback.
The false starts, though, they have one on a receiver. That can't ever happen.
That can never happen.
And I never got to see the good replay.
It was Pokey. It was Pokey coming on that wide receiver screen. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then
we didn't see Pokey again after that.
Yeah. Well, I can't imagine that's it. But, I'm assuming he got banged up. But they also had some on the offensive line as well. You had a center infraction, which you don't see very often.
He had 2 false starts and a center infraction. That's not great. It's not great.
And they can't overcome it. Again, like going back to the Jameis days, that was the only time since I've covered Florida State, honestly, the last 20 years, that
it didn't matter. It almost made it more fun.
It
made it more of a challenge.
at all. But for most quarterbacks, it does matter.
I do want to address a misnomer, too. It's a commonly held belief by fans, and it's just statistically not accurate. They'll talk about their team if they commit penalties as, they talk about the self-inflicted wounds. It's just something that you can't overcome. Oh, no, nay. Offensive dominant teams are oftentimes the most penalized teams in the country, and they overcome it on the regular. Florida State during its heyday was one of the top 10, top 20 most penalized teams in the country. So was Miami.
Took pride in
it. Florida when they were good. Dude, teams like elite teams commit penalties all the time and overcome it. It's not a direct correlation to winning and losing games.
No, it's just the problem when you're not an elite team.
You're not an elite team and you create more problems for yourself, yes. But people will say, you just can't overcome that. And also, I'll hear people say this, good teams don't do that. Nonsense. Good teams do that all the time. They just are good enough to overcome it.
Yeah, you definitely can live with it if you're a better team. But that's where, like, when you watch Mike Norvell and the way they practice, which we get to, thankfully, they emphasize avoiding those penalties and special teams because he's trying to find anything
the hidden yards,
any scraps
anything
he can get because he knows he can't just line up and beat people.
So the snapping issues.
Yeah. Hey, they came to fruition, like what we had talked about in camp. Reared their ugly head at a really inopportune
all
time.
The time
I've never seen, and Maurice Smith was clearly not right. He tried to play and couldn't, but that first half snap that was like a DeGrom slider. I've never seen a snap like that in my life. Like usually they're either above your head or at your feet, not 2 feet to the right. I don't even know physically if there's the window between his legs. He
How
looked
did
like
he get
a
it
weird
that far?
spin
I
on it.
guess TV said he's been dealing with and Mike Norvell does not talk about injuries, but I guess on TV they said he'd been dealing with a back issue. Which you can only imagine.
And that was his last
Dude,
play, I think, of the game.
I mean, just think of, thankfully I've never had like major back problems,
It's a big deal.
There's a couple times when my back didn't feel good.
Yeah.
And that
Imagine playing position.
football in that position. I think it would make you snap in a lot of weird ways.
But they do have to remedy this because this can't continue.
Yeah.
And by the way, they're not immune to it when Babyon's in there. They're not immune to it. This is an ongoing problem. That's not coaching, folks. Nobody's teaching them to snap it the way that they are, and they do try to correct it.
I will say this:
they may not have a guy.
We watch those quarterbacks when they do warm-ups. They have that net with the three squares, and they're trying to throw it in that middle square, the top square, the bottom square. I wouldn't mind doing that with my centers. Turn your butt around and try to snap it in the middle of that net every time. Do it 100 times in a row, and then you can go eat.
And then welcome those back pains because you're going to be doing 100 snaps.
It's fine. But yeah, I just the one regret I have from that game is I really would have liked to seen what he did on that third down play. I think there's a chance they win the game.
That. The rest
we'll always wonder because there's a chance there's some magic in the air and they win that game on that play.
I'd like to argue that they very well might have. Yes,
and he made it. I think the best play he made was the throw to Keyshawn. I still don't understand how he saw it and made that throw down to the 5. But the second best play he made was that play to pick up that ball and have the wherewithal to throw it away like that. Was a 23-year-old veteran. Great play to make, and he's not 100% healthy.
And somebody came at me on Twitter because I tweeted it was a great play, and somebody was like, "Oh, your standards for quarterbacks has gotten really low if that's a great play." And it's like, look, man, I just know that a lot of other quarterbacks would have either just dove on it or turned it into a bigger mistake.
Stood up and tried to make 3 guys miss and come out of the pocket.
He did exactly what you want to do as a veteran quarterback, which he is.
Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, and Warchant TV.
Crawfordville Auto and Tire. Crawfordville Auto and Tire. Oh, hey there. I was just singing the praises of Crawfordville Auto and Tire. They do just about everything. Complete engine rebuilds, brakes, shocks, tires, oil change, you name it, they do it. And they offer a 12-month, 12,000-mile warranty on all parts and labor. Most of the time, they can service your car the same day and offer towing to help you get to the shop. Now that's something to sing about. Open weekdays from 7:30 in the morning until 6 at night. Crawfordville Auto Repair and Tires.
This is Dr. James Ryan Finn with Finn Chiropractic, encouraging you to unmask the cause of your problem. People mask problems with medicine, even with stretching or massage. But if the cause of your problem is pressure on your nerve, you need to unmask that cause. That's what we do at Finn Chiropractic. So if you or a loved one are having neck pain, back pain, or headaches, come in, get the Phenomenal Health exam, and let us unmask the cause of your problem. Remember, chiropractor loves you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Welcome to Tallulah Talk After Hours, your home for all things CBD. Tonight, we're talking about the benefits of CBD personal lubricants, CBD massage oils, romantic CBD scented candles, chocolates, and even CBD bath bombs. Did you know CBD lubricants can lead to increased sensitivity, resulting in longer and stronger experiences? What's left to talk about? Get yours today at Tallulah CBD on Market Street and now open in Betterman Crossings. Thanks for listening to Tallulah Talk After Hours.
When the forgotten poor are in need of healing, they wait for a ship unlike any other. Mercy Ships, a floating hospital staffed by volunteers, heroes of mercy who donate their time to save lives.
Every human has the right to have a place at the table of the human race.
If you could just see the smiles that you get when lives have been changed, then it would make it all worth it.
To learn more about Heroes of Mercy, go to mercyships.org.
You went online to switch your car insurance to Progressive so you could save money. But then you saw a friend request from an old summer camp buddy. And now here you are, clicking through photos of his kickball team from 2011. Oh, looks like they won the championship that year. Then he moved to Tulsa. Oh, a new tattoo. Yes, they said it was easy to save hundreds on car insurance with Progressive, but they forgot about the rest of the internet. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average savings by new customer surveyed who saved in 2019.
If you weren't the owner of Gordo's and all those wonderful restaurants, Eddie, what would you be doing?
You know, I think I'd want to be I don't know what I'd want to be, a boat captain or a cowboy.
You know how to use a lasso?
No.
You'd have to do that if you were a cowboy.
Yeah, but I've never even been on a horse. It's not my place to be on a horse.
I agree. And the horse thanks you. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Turns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Seminole Headlines, roll it on here, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, and of course Warchant TV. And guys, a lot of people here today.
What about my man Trayshawn? He's got some stuff to him.
Yeah.
Our man, Trayshawn.
He's our man. Yeah, he's our man, Trayshawn.
Hey.
He's got some stuff to him, man. Like that. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens with Toafili because I still think he's got a lot of potential.
He's got promise, but
Corbin
and
Trayshawn,
him are going to get the vast majority of those
Jayshawn
carries.
and Trayshawn.
Yeah,
the Shawns.
I said Sean gone. The Sean gone backfield. What do you think about that? Like instead of
I
Sean
knew this
John
was coming. I knew that we were
instead
going
of
to have
Sean
to get
John, it's Sean gone because they're gone on so many long runs. The Sean gone backfield.
Okay, I'm going to say this.
I'm going to say no.
It's better than the Seagulls.
Yeah, the
but not
reach
much.
for the web.
Yeah, the web toe.
Yeah, that was a reach.
Sean Gone's better. It plays on their names a little more, but
let's keep working on it.
Okay, we'll
Let's
workshop
keep working
it. I
on
go
it.
back to the lab.
Yeah, well, you're good at these.
Yeah, it's not my best
Ordinarily,
effort. I
give
think
you-
there's something better out there.
I'm giving you credit here. You're much better at this than that. So
Thank
let's
you.
just-
You have a higher
yeah,
standard. I
yeah,
got you.
Yeah,
Fine.
I hold you to a higher.
Well, and I apologize to you guys.
Yeah.
That was for
we
the
gotta do better.
listeners. That
Let's
was rough.
work on it. Let's work on it. Maybe it'll hit you when they both score against Jacksonville State or something.
Yeah.
Or maybe when we're all at the are we all still going to the Wake Forest game?
Well, I'm going.
Let's go.
I'm in.
You're not
Snuggy
going.
Hill.
You've
I'm
never
in.
been to Wake. You're
I've
not
never
going
been to Wake.
Yeah.
And we actually at the meetup at Hit Horizons the other night met some friends who were came
there,
down
right?
from North Carolina, and
Winston-Salem?
they said they're going to be there with us on the hill.
So
we've
we're
got-
actually going to go sit on the hill.
I would love to sit on the hill. He won't let us out. He will not want to do it. I'm sure he's saying it now, but he would not.
We're going to
wanna do
rally
it.
the troops.
I
and then
think
we're
it would
gonna,
be
like, good generals. We're going to be up in the.
We
press
don't need to
box.
be in the press box. Let's just be on the hill.
I've never been to Wake Forest. I'm not saying that it's been a lifelong dream, but I
right.
am saying that I would
It's on
like
the-
to
it's on
check
the
it out.
bucket
It's
list.
on the list. I mean, I've been everywhere else in the ACC. I just haven't gone to Wake.
Yeah, it's a nice little stadium for what it is. The fair's across the fair's a little
The
bit
fair's
down the
really
road.
active, just like NC State.
Yeah, they got their own
Fair's
little
always
fair.
in town.
It's cool, man. It's cool. That little hills. That's nice.
What if we get up there on a Friday night? What are the watering holes like, guys?
Good question. We
Sit around,
usually
talk
stay. In, I think
shop?
we usually stay in Greensboro though, so I don't know. I'm not.
A little trivia about Winston-Salem. That's where Krispy Kreme was founded.
There you go.
What about
There you
that,
go.
Ira? What do you
Yeah.
think about that?
It works.
Yeah.
So yeah, but either way, I thought Trayshawn and Jayshawn. We talk a lot about the quarterbacks, but that Corbin's a different dude clearly than he was at the beginning of last year. That was some burst. That was some speed. He ran hard. He got the drive that they made it 38-28. He had a really tough run on fourth down to get
Right.
them that. That's the stuff that I think gets overlooked in games like that. But that's just a great run for 2 yards. He's a good running back, it would
Yes.
appear. And Trayshawn Ward is a little, bottle of lightning.
Fire plug.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, and I think they did a good job of not letting him break a long one. But yeah, I think Trayshawn to me is a guy that could go the distance. I did not know that Jayshawn could do that.
Yeah.
It helped that they had like 10 guys up
Jay
the line of
gone.
scrimmage.
I want to point out that a couple, in particular, Glenn would like
How
us to
about
focus on.
Trayshawn to the limo?
We'll see.
Okay. Sorry,
Glenn wants us
spitball.
to focus on Jacksonville State. Glenn, I'll answer your question. He wrote, "Can we focus on Jacksonville State?" No,
Mm-mm.
no. This
Sorry,
ain't going to
Glenn.
be for you today. No, we're not going to focus on
But,
Jacksonville
but
State
the
at all.
team will. I will say this: we were out of practice today. They were
And
already
if
doing.
that's your question, I'm sure they will, but not these three guys.
they're-
No, we're not doing it.
They're already doing their scout team stuff for Jacksonville State. They're taking it seriously. Got to get their first win. Can't overlook anybody. But yeah, we're not.
Well, and they were down to them last year at the half, 21-14.
Mhm.
So you would hope
Still
that,
not going to focus on it.
No, we're not. But
No.
you would hope they would take them a little more seriously than maybe three middle-aged.
Hey,
Sports hosts.
when it's in the second quarter, if it's like 7-7, people are going to be tweeting.
I don't
at
care.
us.
I still won't
Glenn
focus on
definitely
it.
You guys were
There's a
looking
chance.
past them.
There's a chance I'm not watching the game at that point. Who cares? No, I'm kidding. I'll watch the
Right,
game.
sure.
I mean, at some point, I'll watch the game.
And it would be nice. It would be nice. I get why they might not, but it would be nice if they went out and were up by 30 at half.
It'd be really nice, but I'm not going to be down on them if they don't.
No, but
They
yes,
just played
but it'd be a nice little
physical
step.
and emotionally draining game. It's normal for people, human nature, to have like that. Now it's a business. You got to go out there and work.
Yeah.
You got to do what you're supposed to do. But
You one nice thing about this team is you do have a lot of dudes who they only have 1 year.
Yeah.
You got a lot of these.
There's nobody on this
transfers.
team that's proven jack squat, really, except for the
soon-to-be
co-starting quarterback.
Yeah.
Nobody else has really done anything in college of note. So yeah, they should all be chomping at the bit.
Here's
as
what
like
I
to
will
say.
want to see in the Jacksonville State game, because there will be opportunities. I want to see the linebackers play better, and I want to see tight ends get involved in this football game.
Yeah.
They were irrelevant in the last
Right.
football game. I'd like to see them. I mean, it's not a great room. They got to recruit their way out of that. They gotta
It is very deep. I mean, it is. It's 11 deep.
It's just not a real talented room. But I'd like to see them get involved.
Yeah.
And they got opportunities this weekend. And then I guess obviously the receivers should have more of an opportunity.
Well, we don't know. Notre Dame's sole focus this offseason might have been taking the FSU tight ends away. So we'll see when they go up against a different type of defense. But yeah, it's that's such a tough team to open up with. It's not Alabama tough, but that's a really good defensive line I think that Notre Dame has. And that safety is ridiculous.
He's really good.
He's
really good.
From Atlanta, from the 404. Marist.
That range, by the way, woo.
It's like Andrew Jones tracking down a double in the gap.
I was so happy he took his helmet off when he did because I knew that it was going to help Florida State. But when I watched it, I was in awe. I mean, I love the position. And watching that come across the field, I thought that's impossible.
I was convinced there's no way he's in bounds. Like when they called him in bounds, I'm like, there's no way. There's no way he covered that much ground, caught the ball,
and then he was easily in bounds.
And he was like,
he had his helmet off before like the play was like he was still sliding and his helmet was off.
Hour number 2 forthcoming. Stay with. We'll get to your questions in a moment.
Tallahassee's Real Talk Station. 93.3 WVFT, Gretna, Tallahassee.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. President Biden says the losses after Hurricane Ida are profound.
Dozens of lost lives, homes destroyed, and Manville, including by gas leaks triggered by the flooding, damaged infrastructure, including the rail system. And my thoughts are with all those families affected by the storms and all those families who lost someone they loved.
Today, President Biden touring storm damage in New Jersey and New York and getting briefed by local and state officials. More than 24 people died in New Jersey. In New York City, 13 people lost their lives, including 11 in the borough of Queens. Meanwhile, the president's approval numbers are down because of Afghanistan and COVID-19. Greg Clugston reports.
After dealing with chaos in Afghanistan, another COVID-19 surge, and lower than expected jobs numbers, the White House is eager to turn the page.
I think you can expect the president to be communicating over the coming weeks on a range of issues that are front and center on the minds of the American people.
President Biden hopes to refocus on infrastructure and other administration priorities, but questions and concerns about the Afghanistan withdrawal and aftermath won't be going away anytime soon. Greg Clugston, the White House.
Also at townhall.com, an Afghan employee of an American organization in Afghanistan says the Taliban are blocking her and hundreds of other people from boarding the charter evacuation flights out of Afghanistan. The U.S. organization, Ascend, has worked for years with Afghan women and girls. She's among several hundred people, reportedly including American citizens and green card holders, who say they've been waiting in large residence halls and hotels for more than a week now, or permission to board waiting charter flights. On Wall Street, stocks remain mixed now. The Dow off 184 points. The NASDAQ is ahead 30. More at townhall.com.
One listener that stands out that I worked with was this older couple that was interested in refinancing. They reached out to a few different lenders. Their credit wasn't the best. I know some of these other bigger banks, you just won't hear back from them, which I cannot stand. Not everybody has the 780 credit scores. And just because you don't qualify at one time doesn't mean that you'll never qualify. I'll walk you through what you have to do, whether it's 2, 3, 6 months from now. Back to that older couple, we worked with them for months and months to improve their credit. And we were able to get the loan done. We were saving them hundreds each month, thousands of dollars a year, finally got themselves into a situation financially that they can handle and they could start saving money each month for retirement. End of the day, they just could not be happier, which just put a huge smile on my face.
We are United Faith Mortgage.
United Faith Mortgage is a DBA of United Mortgage Corp. 25 Melville Park Road, Milton, New York. Licensed mortgage banker. For all licensing information, go to NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Corporate NMLS number 1330. Equal housing lender. License in Alaska, Hawaii, Georgia, Massachusetts, North Dakota, South Dakota, or Utah.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
These recruiting updates are nothing but fluff.
Are you wasting your time again on free blogs and social media to get the scoop on FSU recruiting?
Yeah, it's all bait and switch. You're on warchant.com. What's really going on with FSU recruiting?
Could be another top 5 class, but for the real scoop, you'll need to get your own Warchant subscription.
What's it cost?
Free. There's a 30-day trial offer. Just sign up and you'll get full access through signing day. And nobody has more accurate and timely information than Warchant.com.
You know I like free. Sign me up.
Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole source.
It's time for Seminole Headlines, featuring Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron, managing editor Ira Schofel, and senior writer Corey Clark. Your weekly dose of all things FSU, pistols, and pies starts right now. Here's Jeff Cameron.
Hour number 2, Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. Appreciate you wherever it is that you're listening or watching to the program. Watching the program. How about that?
Watching to
listening
the program.
to and watching.
Right.
The program. Yeah, that's where we're at. Obviously, a lot of chatter. Florida State, Notre Dame elicited a response that I think we're all happy about because time was rather recently that game 1 was grand opening, grand closing. And now we're in a situation where game 1 is, hey, a little something to talk about.
Yeah.
A little reason to get excited. So we'll get to your questions momentarily. Corey, go ahead. You have the floor.
Hey, isn't the won't the season opening loss streak end next year? Don't they open like Duquesne next year?
They open with Duquesne, so they'll be.
So this streak, I'm calling it right now. The streak's going to end at 5.
So 5. They're I think they're tied for the national lead with Oregon State for the most consecutive season opening losses.
But I bet you Florida State played better competition than Oregon State.
Yeah, Oregon State was not playing Alabama and the great Georgia Tech team from last year. This Notre Dame team, I think this Notre Dame team's an 8-win team, right? Probably not, maybe a 9-win team. Yeah.
All right, here we go. Corey, you clearly got the questions up early.
Yeah, how about that? So that was, I just want people to know, especially if you give your Twitter questions to Ira, that
there's a chance those things will get up to about an hour before the show.
Yeah, I was going to say that was about 30 minutes before the show started. Meanwhile, as always, I get them up the night before. Ira's, you've stopped texting me and asking me if I've gotten the questions up because you're more in love.
You're so dependable.
Yeah, well, he doesn't even care about it anymore. And then I guess I need to start asking you each night before we do the show. Hey, is that question up on Twitter? Have you solicited any questions on Twitter?
Do we need to air our dirty laundry on this program? That's my question.
Hey, I'm coming guns a-blazing after the phone fiasco from the first hour.
All right, so there are plenty of questions on Twitter, though. They did rally.
Well, I hope you're not going to read them.
They're the freshest answers. They're the freshest responses.
Yeah, that's true. They're really fresh. Send them in now. It's live. Send in some questions.
Austin writes, gentlemen, seems like Sidney Williams might be a grown man with the hits he was delivering. I feel like I didn't hear much about him in preseason camp. Do you all have any insight about his progression? Well, he was willing to come up and put his body on you. That was good to see.
He wasn't out there a ton at the beginning of camp, right? He got out there more at the end.
We talked about him in the spring because he was doing some of that in the spring, and he came out late last season, and you saw it.
But he led him in tackles in the last
couple
it was Duke,
games.
but he led the team in tackles the last game.
But he, during preseason camp, he was kind of in and out, so wasn't out there as much. I think he played a little bit more in that game, earlier in that game than I think we expected.
Yeah, he's got a little. I don't know what kind of cover safety he is, but he definitely come down and hit you.
Yeah,
he comes down with bad intentions.
Ryan writes, and I like this, as we sit here staring that all-important Wake Forest game in the face, it made me reflect. How many damn times we had to look at Wake Forest as the make-or-break game for the year? It seems like nearly every season. They got Taggart fired, Jimbo losing off a bye. By the way, Miami got Taggart fired. But Chris
That
Thompson,
Wake game did not help. That Wake game kind of
added to the list of things.
Started to crystallize the thing.
Yeah. Jimbo losing off a bye.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite ones. That was one of my favorite Jimbo losses. Jimbo has a series of inexplicable losses, but that's a good one. That was a toughie.
EJ, they said EJ could only play if
Clint was terrible.
Yeah.
That was the emergency. Clint's terrible.
The doctor said you could play him, but only if Clint turns
Clint
over
has
3 times.
Get him in there.
By the way, that game that they lost is one of EJ's best throws, though. That throw, oh my Lord!
Yeah.
His first touchdown.
I thought he's gonna turn this thing around.
That was an incredible throw. Jimbo losing off a bye. Chris Thompson's return from a broken back. EJ Manuel running all game to get us a win. Jeff Bowden firing. Yep, I was in the stadium that night. 30-0. Woo. weird that this series has so many big moments that stick out. Yeah, it's unfortunate. There shouldn't be. We should be regaling you with the 500 ass beatings that Florida State has delivered to Wake
going
Forest.
for win 32 in a row.
Yeah.
And didn't they have a string of ACLs against Wake Forest too?
Oh, the
Greg
old
Jones.
field. That field at Wake Forest was the worst. I used to hate when we'd go up there and play.
Was it Greg Jones?
He had
Jones,
one,
Greg
and there was
Jones.
another one. There was another one before that.
Yeah, we had a couple there. Yeah, that was frustrating.
And then Chris Thompson breaks his back up there. Yeah, I was saying something to somebody this morning. I said, man, that Wake game is huge. And as I said it, I said to myself, man, what am I doing here? We're saying the Wake Forest game is huge, but it really is.
You referenced my dad earlier in the show. He and I were sitting in a parking garage for 2 hours waiting to leave the football game. Forest State was really organized, buttoned up over there, both going into the games and out of the games.
I got out of there so late. I was just worried about vagrants.
Get it
You
together.
had to try to. You were actually with people.
Get it together, Florida State.
Did you really have to wait? It was probably 2 hours.
Insane. An hour, 30 minutes, just not even moving.
Yeah.
Nobody moving.
You know what I've always thought?
Asinine.
What if you had an orange vest in the back of your car and you just went out there and acted like you were doing something? You knew what you were doing.
That'd be great. You get out. It's illegal, but you could get out and just tell people, you got to move. You got to move. We've got an emergency. And then whatever your car is, you point to that car.
You get people to start turning different ways. It doesn't matter. Just get them out of the garage.
Probably frowned upon.
But is that a crime that you're not impersonating an officer? You're just
impersonating a traffic guard. That's got to be a misdemeanor at most. I don't even think it's anything.
Why don't you try it?
Okay. Well, I don't have an orange vest.
Let's go to a game together. I'll get you one.
Don't even go with the orange. Like go, just
pink, whatever.
A pink vest.
Just a bright
blue
colored vest.
It's got to be bright.
Could be green.
The stuff I bike in, I'll wear that.
David Wright, seems like we all agree the team performed better than expected against Notre Dame. Does Sunday's performance change your projected win-loss totals for the season?
It tweaks mine a little bit. And Aslan brought it up on Wake Up Warchant. He misquoted me a little bit. I didn't say the floor is now 7 wins. I said now I think 7 is that's a reasonable expectation. Before I thought it was 6.
Yeah.
Even though they didn't beat Notre Dame, I think looking at the weekend as a whole, I could see them winning 7 games.
The totality of the ACC.
Yeah, without doing anything special, I think they can get to 7 wins. Whereas before, I didn't know if they could.
Well, let's do this, guys.
All right. We'll revise WCL
every week.
I mean, I think NC State looks like a pretty sure win now. Not a sure win. Not a sure win. But I think it's a win. I think it's a very winnable game. I wasn't quite as sure. Louisville, I think, is a sure win.
I'm going to give you Louisville. I thought that before I saw them play.
Syracuse is a sure win.
I think they're all winnable.
UMass is a sure win. Jacksonville State's a sure win. So now you got 4 sure wins.
No, we did this before, though. I had all those 4 sure wins you had.
But
there
now
before.
Miami's very winnable. NC State's very winnable.
Look, you got to win the Wake game. It starts with that.
Right.
Wake's
Nothing
winnable.
really changes until you beat Wake. But it's Wake. Here are your wins if you play well. Jacksonville State, Wake, Louisville, Syracuse, UMass. That's 5 wins. That's 5. Now you have to beat a combination for 2 more wins. Right. You ready? Here's the combo. You got to beat North Carolina on the road,
which looks winnable.
After 1 game,
yeah, they look like ass.
Yeah, okay, they did. You got to beat Clemson.
Okay, well,
not going to happen.
Fine. That defense looked pretty good.
You got to beat Miami.
That's winnable.
Winnable.
By then? What are they going to be by then?
Now,
Jeff?
they may have quit. You're right. But we'll have to monitor them because I'm not going to judge them for getting blown out by Alabama.
But
everybody would have gotten blown out.
But I was suspect of them coming into the season.
All right.
And now
you just raised an
I
eyebrow.
feel like a little bit.
All right. You and I may have a fundamental, like, why don't we wager on it disagreement.
NC State?
The NC State team.
When is
looks
that game?
really, really good. That game is Saturday, November the 6th.
Oh, we can't talk about NC State right now. As Glenn,
anyway,
can we get back to Jacksonville State like Glenn wants? I'm tired of looking ahead 2 months.
Here we go.
Glenn, I'm with you.
Hold on. So then you got to win that game, Boston College and Florida.
Yeah, man, there's a couple wins in there. I think.
So they're winnable.
There's more than a couple.
Yeah, they're winnable. I think the only one now, looking at the schedule, you're like, hey, is the one in Death Valley.
Right, whereas you thought 3 maybe.
Yeah,
before.
yeah, sure. But because of the way Florida State played, I take that into account more than Miami getting trounced by Alabama. Because Florida State, if you could put 38 on Notre Dame, when you turn it over 3 times and have 9 penalties, you could probably put 38 on most teams you play. And when you score 38, as long as you don't give teams busted wide open 60-yard touchdowns on 4th and 2, you probably should win those games.
And I think
that's my thought.
defenses, now that they've seen Milton, are going to have a tougher time with Travis because now they can't just prepare for Jordan Travis.
Yeah, and vice versa.
CG writes, just got my tickets for the Wake game.
Let's go.
Going to be in attendance for arguably Mike's biggest game as a Noles so far.
Yeah.
Coming to take the damn hill.
Let's go.
Well, did he get tickets on the hill, though? That's the question.
I got overly carried away last time we had this discussion, and somebody called me out for it. I said, burn it to the ground. I said something like that.
That seems extreme.
Set fire to the hill. Did I say set fire to the hill? I said set fire to the hill. That was probably a bit much.
No.
I don't really think we
Go,
should set it.
what
I
was the Alabama
facetious.
dude? Who was the Alabama guy that poisoned the trees?
Oh, that was awful. Yeah. He's dead, by the way.
He died.
Thankfully.
But let's, why don't you burn like a big kind of spear into the middle of that with some gas?
You think they're going to let you do that? They're going to let you just go ahead?
They're not going to know what we're doing.
Are
They're
we
going to
getting there
think
the
we're
night
pouring
before?
out. We put it in a wine box,
There
so
you
you'll
go.
fit right in on with all the picnickers. And you just slowly leak it out, and then you set fire to it. And by the time they know what's happened, you're in Raleigh.
Not only are we taking the hill, we're taking their wine.
And then their wives.
Oh, man. And their women.
And then their wives.
Yeah, we're going to take your wine and your women. We're going to burn the hill to the ground.
We're going to take your blanket.
It's going old school.
That loving McKenzie Milton story, feel-good story is not going to be quite
Florida
so
State's
lovable.
back. Florida State's back, baby.
The fans, emboldened by a loss against Notre Dame, have begun to lay siege to Winston-Salem.
Yes.
Here's a shot from downtown.
We don't know what's going on, Jerry. We don't know.
Set fire to the hill. And there's a guy in the back on a garden goal running off with women in his arms. You know, it's just like, what has happened here? Jared writes, after seeing us play a game and look improved, would 5 and 7 now be considered a disaster?
I'm not a disaster, but you would definitely, it would take a little bit of the buzz off of.
Yeah.
It'd be a step back. Yeah. Chris writes, in my opinion, up until midway through the fourth, the offense was terrible except for 2 huge plays, played with mistakes and stupid penalties. I was very worried about how recruits would view that game until we got going finally. First game jitters or what? Well, I thought they responded really well down 7-0, sticking with the run. They get the long play because they're still willing to run.
Right.
And then from there, let's not forget, they rally to take a 14-7 lead. They actually come back and take the lead after looking awful for about a good quarter there. So I wouldn't say that they were terrible. They were wildly inconsistent, and that's because the quarterback was inconsistent. And also the offensive line does not do a good job in pass pro. And this is kind of the problem they're going to have. They're lacking in some areas. This is not an elite football team. Yeah. They're not going to walk out and be overly efficient game in and game out. They're not going to dominate too many opponents. So, this is what you're going to get from this team. But
I also think it's the show of where maybe the standard being raised to where, and I don't necessarily disagree with them. I thought the offense was very hiccupy and stop and starty and had some awful moments. And again, you point out, you can say, oh, just for a couple of big plays. Well, you made a couple of big plays. Mm-hmm. The offense made plays, and you had 28 on Notre Dame, where last year there were 2 teams that scored more than 28 against Notre Dame. They were named Alabama and Clemson. So you put up more points on them with your quarterback playing poorly than anybody else they played did. So I think, again, the perceptions changed a little bit of what about this offense can be. Last year, we were over the moon that they put up 26 on that Notre Dame team.
Well, and also that was a game where the offense fought and hung in there, and they got a goal line.
Well, and I thought that was Jordan Travis's best game last year. Was the Notre Dame game, and I thought he wasn't good this year, and they scored more points.
If you told any FSU fan out there, anyone, that you're going to come out of that game with 400-something yards of offense and 38 points, they would have signed up right immediately.
And outrushed Notre Dame by 200 yards.
Yeah.
That's
when you say
I'm
it that
literally
way,
flabbergasted
that
by
makes you excited and sad at the same time. Ordinarily, you outrun somebody by 200 yards, outrush somebody, you're going to win the game.
Well, but that's where the penalties and the turnovers did.
99.9% of those.
And missed kick.
You're outscored 21-0 on those turnovers.
Yeah.
There it is. Dabs writes, had a fantastic time in Tallahassee this weekend. Had to explain some things to the family, like the Yay sausage shirt for my wife and why I was hugging Jeff's dad at Bumpers. He's a great hugger. Look forward to a great season on Yay sausage. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, well, he is a good hugger. There's no doubt. And a lot of people got dad's hugs this weekend. So.
We got a good picture with him, with our buddy Bobby. Outside of, I think Stephanie took it.
Yeah, and Stephanie. I actually got a bunch of Yay sausage shirts in my garage.
Jeff wants one.
So if you guys want to come by.
Yeah.
Everybody? Anybody?
You lock in the garage these days? I don't
by.
lock anything. So just come in and take what you need.
That's established.
Yeah.
Mark writes, is this 2 years in a row that Norvell has started the wrong quarterback in game 1? Are there issues with him evaluating quarterbacks? I don't think so. At least for this year, we've laid out the
and last year, Jordan Travis. Last year, they had 2 quarterbacks going through camp: James Blackman and Tate Rodemaker.
Yeah,
he didn't start the wrong quarterback. He didn't have the right quarterback to start.
Yeah, Jordan Travis didn't practice at all last August.
After that
so that was. You can't hold that against him. Blackman was the only real option, as Rodemaker proved against Jacksonville State 2 weeks later. Blackman was not a good option, but he was the only option he had against Georgia Tech. This one, a little different, but not much, because, again, one guy just did not
wasn't
practice
there
as
to
much
practice
as
very
the other
much.
guy.
Yeah, that was, well, not just, and again, I know we're having to be careful, but we've now played a game. I think the cat's out of the bag. I just want to say, again, I'm not trying to...
You're not trying to blow up anybody's spot.
I'm just noting that, look, one guy missed a lot of time. Not a little, a lot. For whatever reason. Okay? I mean, I know they kept dancing around it because you want the strategic advantage of making a team prepare for both. We've moved on now. Both teams have seen both guys.
Yeah, and Jacksonville State will be preparing for both.
Right. I'm just saying that in the preseason here in camp, it wasn't like, hey, one guy missed 3 more practices than the other. No, man, there was a lot of time missed, and that was unfortunate. But that didn't help you evaluate the position really well because you need him out there in order to do that. More questions momentarily. Hang in. Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
Hi, I'm Jeff, founder of Which Superior Sandwiches, and I'm here to tell you about our signature witch, the Wicked. Why call it the Wicked? Some say it's wicked tasty, some say it's wicked large. One thing's for sure, with oven-roasted turkey, ham, pepperoni, roast beef, and bacon, as well as your choice of 3 cheeses, it definitely takes you from wicked hungry to wicked happy in just a few wicked good bites. Only at Which Superior Sandwiches.
On Wednesday, the Wicked is just $5. 5 meats, 3 cheeses, $5.
Every great construction project, whether it's a new addition or renovation, starts with a plan. At T-Spark, we are excited when our clients contact us to assist with that plan. Through our team of architects, draftsmen, engineers, we can help you with your project's planning and design, potentially saving costs in the long run. Whether you have a residential or commercial project, we look forward to working with you. Call us today or visit us at tsparkconstruction.com.
License number CGC 1525336.
It all started with a simple family dream, some hard work, and the foundation of honest, loyal, and fair customer service. Now, Spartan Stoneworks is Tallahassee's premier granite, marble, and quartz specialist. Your kitchen is your family's gathering place. So let a company with strong family values bring your kitchen back to life. Stop wishing for your new kitchen and call Spartan Stoneworks today at 510-4249. That's 510-4249. Online at SpartanStoneworks.com.
I call Swain Pools and Spas. Now I'm soaking up the fun when I want to.
I call Tallahassee Car Care and they're fixing my car when I want to.
Hey, what are you doing? This is a Swain Pools and Spas commercial.
I'm turning it into a Tallahassee Car Care commercial.
But Swain Pools and Spas is a full-service shop offering sales, renovation, supplies, and more for years.
And Tallahassee Car Care is a full-service shop offering brake and tire service, batteries, oil changes, and more for years.
But people go to Swain Pools for quality and reliability. Nobody knows more about pools and spas, and Swain has new Caldera spas in stock right now.
And people go to Tallahassee Car Care for their 5-star service at great prices, with most maintenance done by their certified technicians while you wait.
You know what? Just look for the big Swain sign on West Tharp Street, because Swain Pools and Tallahassee Car Care are under the same roof. Online at SwainPools.com.
Online at TallahasseeCarCare.com.
Swain Pools and Spas.
If you're worried about your hard-earned dollars becoming worthless or your 401k or IRA losing value, now is the time to move into gold. No, not gold or silver stocks, but real gold and silver you can actually hold in your hands. How do you get real gold and silver? By calling Oxford Gold today at 833-600-GOLD. The Oxford Gold Group will teach you everything you need to know about owning real gold and silver. It's a lot easier than you think. Call the Oxford Gold Group right now at 833-600-GOLD to get your free gold and silver investment guide. Put your savings and retirement accounts into something real, like gold and silver. Get your free Oxford Gold Group investment guide today and learn how easy it is to have real gold and silver delivered to your home, or how you can have real gold and silver in your retirement account. Don't sit back and watch your savings and retirement account suffer. Now is the time to make your money work as hard for you as you did for your money. So do this. Call the Oxford Gold Group right now, today, 833-600-GOLD. That's 833-600-GOLD.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Panama Noel writes, first time question. I was in favor of going for it on 4th and 2. We had no momentum at the time. What do you think, gentlemen? Also, I'm going to enjoy a nice quick trip. Some pistols and pie is what he said. Okay.
I had to explain that.
Can you have negative momentum, by the way? Because if you get it, he said they had no momentum. So I think they had negative momentum.
Momentum was going in the wrong direction. And yes, I did. Somebody came up at the thing on Saturday at Corner Pocket and asked about like, hey, we hear it all the time. We don't understand. We've listened for years, but we've never understood that reference. So I explained it to him. I'm not going to do it here, guys. You have to approach me at a bar in Tallahassee, and I'll tell you whatever you need to know.
Many years ago, we probably went overboard in discussing what pistols and pie
Look,
meant.
man,
Especially the pie portion.
Those are younger days.
Oh, it's okay.
What I said was we
were on YouTube back then.
The pistols came from if we were a quarterback that threw a touchdown, this is all we would do is take them out of the holster,
spin them,
and then we joked that even in the
I think we were encouraging EJ to do it.
it, and then saying like,
and I think at the end we wanted him to go like that. With
flick it and then put it back.
Yeah,
and then in the press conference, anytime he was asked the question like, "What'd you see on that touchdown to Burt Reed?" He's like, "Oh, you mean the one I." Did that? That one. Yeah. Like he just used pistols.
That would be great.
It'd be awesome
if a quarterback in the NFL, especially a prolific one, like say Brady or anybody, like, oh, good to see you, John. What's your question? Oh, the touchdown, Pat. Yeah, in the second quarter. Let me tell you something about that. That was. That would be great, and he did it after every touchdown pass, or question about every touchdown.
So
pass.
that's where that came.
And then the pie came from my love of pie, which who doesn't love pie?
Strawberry
rhubarb pie specifically. And I told you that one of the great traditions in the Cameron household is to start Thanksgiving morning with a little bit of pie.
And I think now we move on.
Sweet honey pie.
A little bit of pie. Start your day that way, because that way you can.
I think this is where we move on.
Yeah,
but the fourth down play. Getting back to the
question. Hold on. I was going to answer that first.
Oh, cool, man. I'm glad we have the hierarchy figured out on the show.
We do. Well, no, because I liked the question and I asked it. I skipped because I wanted to get to this question. No, this is a Twitter question.
Why not?
So you don't even get to answer.
It doesn't matter.
You don't even get to answer.
Sorry, Facebook.
First of all, Panama Noel, maybe for the wrong reasons. You're right. It was the right call. And I had no problem with it. At the time, I had no problem with it either.
Yeah.
Now, it does suck that it didn't work. Yes. And I would also note that I need my man to hit a wide open tight end in a timely fashion. And this has got me mad.
Was that what happened? He was open early and he didn't get it to him?
Yes.
Okay.
And you don't need it to be a big play.
You just got to get the first down. It's the right call. He's got to hit that. He doesn't. It pissed me off. And the result is disastrous in the moment.
And then you boot him.
I did not boo. But the result is disastrous in the moment. And I get what fans see. They're like, oh, great. This game was already hanging in the balance. And now we're about to give them that field position. And this thing could turn into a blowout. Well, it didn't. But the bottom line is, you are playing clearly, and Norvell has done it since day one when he got here, and he's trying to instill in them a belief of confidence, right, that he has in them and them in themselves. He's not playing to feel good about the final score.
Yeah,
he's playing to win the damn game.
And he said it today when we talked to him today. He said he kind of went into the whole explanation about analytics.
Well,
and whatever.
And he does. I love that he's a modern coach who studies that. 100%. He cares deeply about, and he's right mathematically.
And what's funny, because people used to kill Jimbo because he was the exact opposite. He wouldn't
go for it on 4th and 2. And the other team's 33. Yeah.
Well, then he lied to you about how far the distance was.
Yeah, exactly.
It was
4th and 3.
Yeah, it was 4th and 1. I'm looking at it.
But on top of that, but then that's what he came back to is I'm going to coach to win the football game. And he said, it served us well. If you look back at my time as a head coach, there have been times we've gone on to drive to score because we did that.
Well, and you always remember when it doesn't work. But here's the other thing that I would point to for those that would vehemently disagree. Fine. I mean, there's an argument to be made the other way. I think you're wrong, but we're not going to get into the weeds with this. At that time in the game, Florida State's offense had completely stalled on back-to-back drives.
And we're taking no time off the clock.
And the defense was clearly
exhausted. Had just given up 2 long touchdown drives.
Was very exhausted. And the thought was, I cannot send them back out there in this situation. So his thought was, okay, if I get it, fine, we stay on the field, we got a chance to get back in the game. If we punt, they're just going to come down the field and likely score again because they're exhausted, only it'll take more time. Yeah. And then we have even less of a chance to come down and make this thing a game late because, there'll be less time on the clock. So I can see it, but I know in the moment a lot of people, especially traditionalists, they see they're like, you never do that. Well, we know a lot more about the game now. And
it's 2021. Get used to it. There's going to be a lot of 4th and 2s on other people's side of the fields where they go for it. And it's the right thing to do analytically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and
but
you want a
average-
modern coach who studies that
You
stuff.
average 6 yards a play. You had to get 2. It would seem crazy not to go for it in that moment when you're down 11 and you feel like that other team's about to take control of the game, which they did anyway.
Look,
Didn't
man,
work out great.
The bottom line to me is whatever your philosophy is, that's your philosophy.
Stick with
And
it.
Stick with
Yeah.
it. And if
Are you
that's his
hitting on
philosophy,
16 or are you taking? You
there
staying?
you go.
You
Exactly.
what are we doing?
Yeah. Are we doubling
You can't
down or
just
are we
walk
not
one
doubling
down.
down?
What are we doing here? When
Don't
I walk
go
into
on
this
feel.
casino,
Don't go on feel. You're always hitting on 16 or
that's-
you're not.
Yeah, that's the way it is. We walk into this casino with a plan, gentlemen. You ready? We dap. Let's get a drink. Come on, here we go. Now don't be going waffling on me over here, everybody. You take that hit for the rest of the people at the table.
The guy at the next seat's like, man, he keeps hitting on 16. Yeah, but he's committed.
He's committed.
that's what
He's
he
not
does.
having it. He's
Yeah.
not having it. Even though this other guy is showing you. All right, next question. Let's get. Oh, for Corey's sake, I want to get back over to Facebook.
There you go. I mean, just those people were invested longer. Ira just asked 20 minutes ago for questions.
Mike writes, given the high productivity from our transfers and ability to have relatively quickly cleaned house from late Jimbo, man, we got to figure something out with this throw.
Hey, man, the cough button would be
Just-
great.
You need to go see a doctor.
Well,
What is
clearly I
happening?
do.
I'm
Clearly I
worried
do.
about you. Let's start over. Mike, given the high productivity from our transfers and ability to have relatively quickly cleaned house from late Jimbo / Willie recruits, have you changed earlier thoughts on the ability to build a team utilizing the transfer portal? No, I think you can do that. I think you'd run risks in doing that, such as a lack of a character, a bond that comes with being recruited in a class that you build together through time and all that.
Yeah, and I think there's a challenge from the standpoint if you have to do your research in a small, you have to do all your research in a quick amount of time. The recruiting process is not a year like it is for high school players. It's maybe a week and maybe 2 days that you have to make a decision. And on top of that, if a kid comes in and he doesn't have the culture, if he's doesn't have the work ethic, all the things you want, you only have a short amount of time to get him assimilated. He's only got that 1 year.
Yeah.
Whereas if a kid comes in as a freshman, maybe he's not like Buster Davis. I always think back to Buster. And Buster Davis, actually, I tweeted a video when Coach Bowden
he's
tied.
speaking up in Atlanta.
But he
or
talked
wherever,
about that story. At some point, I'd like to get him on the record about his freshman year because that he was
I
one of the
remember
top
when he
players in the
quit.
country. Yeah, I mean, he quit. He just left.
Yeah.
And he wasn't in camp for 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
And then came back. And the story he was telling was Coach Bowden said, "Look, man, I believe in you." And that's kind of what got through to him is, "Hey, man, I believe in you, and I'm not gonna let you quit," kind of thing. But you don't have that window of time to work a guy in when you bring him as a transfer. But yeah, that's going to be more and more the case because, especially now, because you have the one-time transfer rule is great where you can go somewhere and play right away, but it's a one-time transfer rule.
Mhm.
So once a kid transfers, they can't just transfer somewhere else and play right away. They're going to have to sit out. So there's a little bit more stability once you bring a guy in.
Yeah, you want to build just like in the NFL. Free agency's nice. You can go get a key free agent and put him in a position of need, but you want to build through the draft. Most teams, if you look at the successful ones, most of them build through the draft. Now, again, if you're able to get a top tier quarterback in free agency like the Bucs did with Tom Brady, maybe a wise move in that situation. But on the whole, if you look at what the Bucs have done in the draft the last 5 years, most of that electrifying defense is through the draft. Most, not all, but most. All right, let's go back to this here really quickly. I think this is an interesting question, and I may be more bullish than some. Kevin writes, the defense did look much better. However, we once again allowed a pedestrian quarterback to look all world. Is that due to and you're right about pedestrian, Kevin. Is that due to a
pedestrian as they come?
Yes. Is that due to a total sellout to stop the run, or is our secondary once again going to be a liability? I just feel like the secondary didn't play as bad as the numbers looked.
No.
I'm telling you, they were in position. Akeem Dent should have had the interception. Travis Jay is in position on a play that a guy just takes the ball away from him. I think they're better. I really do.
100%. I mean, I didn't walk out. I get it. The yards look bad, but no, and it wasn't because of a philosophical thing. I thought the defense overall was prepared. They had a good game plan, and for the most part, executed well. Certainly in the run defense, but just got beat on some
And
passes.
100 of those yards were on a busted 4th down play to the tight end and a 55-yard screen pass on a ridiculous blitz. I mean, that's 100 yards.
Yeah, now that call I'm going to agree with people was not a good call.
No, and he even admitted. We talked to Adam Fuller today after practice, and he admitted that it was not a good call.
Can I say this too? And I want to do this. Guys are probably tired of me bringing this up, but Adam Fuller, whatever happens, happens. We'll see what happens and judge him throughout the course of the season.
Likable dude.
Oh,
he's
man,
a really
is he
likable guy.
dude.
Go watch that video.
For a lot of reasons, and one of them is that he is willing to own up to any of that
absolutely.
stuff. Now, listen, if you are constantly owning up to huge mistakes,
Honey,
it's not going to be ideal.
Honey, yes, I did sleep with her.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to deny it, but I'm telling you,
lost the
that
dog.
was for dinner.
I lost the dog, and I'm sorry. I can't keep apologizing for losing our dog.
I did lose the dog. I did sleep with her. Is there anything else? What else is...
I'm not great. I'm not great sometimes.
Nathaniel writes, boy, it's amazing how much impact a disruptive defensive line can have, eh? That said, I even thought the linebacker play, aside from the blown coverage on the first touchdown, was also improved behind that defensive line, albeit with still limited talent. Yes, that's correct. It's better, but not good. They triggered faster, mostly took correct gaps, and were active across the field. Would you guys agree after rewatching the game? Yeah, they're just they've got to raise the floor through recruiting. They got to get better players at that position. My concern,
they were in better position.
Yeah, sure.
At least
I agree with that.
They were in the right position most of the time.
My concern is they're not recruiting well at that position right now. You look everywhere else, you feel really good about the yeses. You feel really good about how they're attacking positions of weakness with numbers. So I'm looking at you, Chris Marv. I'm going to need you to get in on some linebackers.
I mean, it's been what are we doing here at Florida State with linebackers, man? Like, it ain't like Chris Marv's predecessor was knocking it out of the park.
No. We've had some issues.
Or his predecessor.
Who was Marv's predecessor?
Woody.
Yeah, that's right. And then before him was Bill Miller.
Oh,
I was thinking of Bill Miller. I forgot about the Raymond Woody gap.
Bill Miller era.
I mean, how does that when does Alabama just stop recruiting any position? And Florida State was
they're operating at peak efficiency, and we're not.
But when you think about Florida State in 14 and 15, like you would have thought they could have just named the 5-star linebackers they wanted to go after, and it did not happen.
A lot of bad evaluations.
Yes. Yeah. And it's
so that's
here we are now 7 years later, and you're like, man, this just isn't like we said. And I thought Deloach was good. I thought he was a good player in that game. Not great, but good. The other guys, I know you got a high bar. I mean,
Florida State linebacker.
Yeah, and Mickey Andrews said he looked like Derek Brooks, and
he did not say that. He's putting words.
Two Derek Brooks.
Two Derek Brookses. Yeah. But
Marvin Jones is my favorite player of all time. I have a standard.
Well, I mean, look, Deloach is I've said before, he's a modern days. He's Marvin 2.0.
Yeah, he gets a little bigger.
But but you look at that depth chart, and the Cortez Andrews kid, who's a walk-on, is playing in that game. The Green McKnight kid has been brought down. Yeah. You look at that depth chart, and you're like, what's happened? This doesn't make sense for a place like Florida State to have this dearth of
the
bodies and talent.
Well, they had a bunch of the kids that were signed under Raymond Woody in that time, and are not available. Emmett Rice should be there.
Well, and Emmett Rice would help, but he's also a 6th-year senior, so you know what I mean. He maybe really shouldn't be there, if all things considered.
He would help, though.
Oh, absolutely.
We got to go to break, but I do want to say that again. I'm not going to be a broken record this year and talk about this position because the ceiling is pretty low for this group. They're not an elite group of linebackers, and so. I don't want week in and week out to dog them. We just know what they are. This point, hopefully they'll play better, but they were in better positions. You just got to get some kids in here that can play. Now, there's the transfer portal for you.
Right.
Find you a badass linebacker that can come in here and start right away. Lord knows there's spots for him. We've got plenty of places.
Spots of plenty.
Yeah. Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
Masking up is a requirement Leon County Schools Assistant Superintendent Dr. Alan Cox says will stay in place for the time being. Leon County Schools set Labor Day as a benchmark, saying if COVID among children remained a concern by the holiday, masks would continue to be required. As the Delta variant rages on, the schools are seeing more cases in the classroom. LCS says last year, 800 in-person learning students caught COVID. In the last 2 weeks, the district has already had 400 cases. So far, a secondary benchmark to revisit the mandate has not been set. Florida State University is receiving over 7,000 air purifiers that will be installed all around campus. The school said they are focusing on putting the purifiers in all classrooms and common areas on the school grounds and say this is just another tool in keeping students, staff, and faculty safe against COVID-19. FSU said the entire shipment of air purifiers cost around $3 million, paid for through the CARES funding. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at macklemoresystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Chance for scattered thunderstorms this afternoon. Otherwise, partly cloudy skies. Highs around 88. Southerly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance for scattered thunderstorms tonight, 73. Partly cloudy skies. Cloudy skies with a few peaks of sun tomorrow. Scattered thunderstorms likely. High of 84. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 92.
What do you need tires on? Your car or truck, tractor or heavy equipment? At Nice Tire and Auto Service, we have tires for all of these needs. And we service your vehicle from air conditioning and computerized alignment to oil changes and everything else under the hood. Call Nice Tire and Auto today at 574-4100. That's 574-4100 for your scheduled maintenance. National accounts welcome at Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, just west of Capitol Circle.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Greg Tish, Real Talk 93.3.
Hey everybody, this is Greg Tish. Thank you so much for listening to Real Talk 93.3. Don't forget you can check out me and Maddie Rowe every Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. on the Greg Tish Show. Wake up with a smile with the Greg Tish Show. How's that sound, Maddie Rowe? Is that a good promo for you?
That's good enough for me.
Is that good? Are we
It's
at
good for
30
everybody.
seconds yet?
Right about now.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3.
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Matt writes, does it feel like the first time since famous Jameis torched Pittsburgh that FSU is getting some good publicity again? Oh, I think so. I read nationally any number of analysts.
Well,
that
Travis Rudolph eating lunch with that kid.
That was in that window of time.
That was a nice window.
Yeah.
I think nationally you saw a lot of people noting, rightfully so, that Florida State is a vastly improved team, and that happened for almost every national.
Well, and you
analyst
also
I
had
was
the
watching.
Bowden thing and the McKenzie thing. Like people are now actively going to
And
root for Florida State.
And
because
Dylan
of
Gibbons
McKenzie
and the Timothy Donovan.
and Dylan Gibbons. Yeah, man. Yeah,
It was a Disney movie that night.
Yeah, the whole weekend.
Trip writes, howdy, gentlemen. How does the almost choke at Doak Part 2 change your season win total? We went over this. Sorry, Trip. Linebackers filled and set the edges. The OL paved the way for 264 yards rushing. These were all question marks that threatened this team's ceiling, but they were answered against a solid opponent. Curious to hear your thoughts.
The run game is a big deal, man. Like you touched on earlier, the Sean Gone backfield, Corey,
Yeah.
which I'm starting to come around with.
No, we're
That's
not
going to
doing
take off,
No,
man.
it's not. You're going to change it tonight.
They run block. That offensive line cannot pass block very well right now,
No.
but they can run block, and they've got some good schemes. And he's a good play caller. Mike Norvell's a good play caller, man. Or Dillingham, whoever's calling plays, they do a nice job with it. And I think that running game is going to be the identity, whoever's a quarterback.
Mike, this is interesting from you, but we'll do our best. And we have some recommendations. He says, I'm coming to my first game in Tallahassee. I presume this weekend. What are some must-try restaurants? And what time is Sod? Yeah, so it is this Saturday. What time is Sod Talk this Saturday?
Obviously, Horizons.
Yeah, well, we'll say Horizons.
Horizons.
Yeah, corner
And if
pocket,
you need
Horizons,
orthodontist, you know where to go.
Gordo's.
Ride or die.
Yeah.
You ride or die with Heather Birch.
If your kid's braces have any problems, get over to Birch Orthodontics.
So I'm going to give them a bunch of them. Horizons Bar and Grill, Gordo's, Bumpers, Corner Pocket. Lots of places for you to try out all around, okay?
Yeah.
Now, that said, I don't know why you circled this game, my brother. Maybe it was just that there'd be fewer people, easier ticket to get.
I got one guy sent me a message the other day that he was hoping to come down for the Notre Dame game, couldn't get tickets. Jacksonville State's going to be a little bit more affordable if you're coming down from Georgia.
Maybe a little more more room to spread out and space out.
So I think some people, if you're not coming for if you're just coming for the experience, you haven't been to a lot of Florida State games, this is a good game for that.
Yeah. Okay. And then Sod Talk. Anybody got a handle on
It's
when
usually
that's taking
like
place?
it's 2 hours before the game.
I
usually.
don't know that they do that right now, though.
Oh yeah, they did it.
They did it this time.
pretty
You
sure.
can even if you're not there though, you can press that little button that they have at the cemetery
Yeah.
now, and it'll give you the history of the cemetery. So
And
that's
Mike,
cool,
the
too.
good news is you'll likely be able to get in and out of your parking spot in a reasonable amount of time. There's even a chance that when you go to get a beer, let's say at concessions, you can do so in under 45
They won't
minutes.
just quit. The staff won't just quit.
Unreal.
Concessions were a
What
problem.
is
apparently.
going
One of the
on?
concession stands
They just
apparently
decide they quit.
they just quit in the middle.
My beloved dad went to get me and the boys some water. Came back an hour and 20 minutes later, said it was the most ridiculous thing he'd ever seen. One line was going smoothly, shut it down. Had to go to the other one. Then some guy's trying to order 15 beers, getting in an argument with the lady. Well, there's 105 people. It was insane. Florida State.
Some game issues.
We got to buck up here. What is going
Operations
on? Anyhow, so hopefully things will be better for you there. Marlon writes, hello, gents. I'm going to put my Aslan hat on because these kids played their ass off, and I felt Coach Norvell and this coaching staff let them down.
Ooh, that is an Aslan hat.
O-line can't snap, can't stop jumping off sides. How do you lose that tight end on that fourth down play? The positive is that maybe this helps the recruiting class. Love the show. No, I listen, you're talking about a center that can't snap or struggle to snap in this.
Yeah, it wasn't like Atkins told him, hey, man, when you're trying to snap the ball, like a two-hopper is what McKenzie really needs.
Yeah, just make sure it's uncatchable, whatever you do.
What is interesting to me, and I'm not, just defending them blindly, but it is interesting the people who will blame the coaching for a couple of decisions here or there, but not recognize where this program was 1 year ago and where it is today. Or where it was 2 years ago and where it is today. So they get some credit for some of that as well.
Yeah, I think they are well coached, frankly. Yeah. I don't think you can argue it.
I mean, there's some decisions that people didn't like, whatever, that's fine.
Also,
but overall, it's completely different.
It's a fool's game to second-guess play calling. I learned it years and years ago. If a play works, you're a genius. If it doesn't, you're an idiot. That's the general perception of fans.
3rd and 18. You don't need to blitz. You don't need to bring 6. I'm always going to ride with that.
I'm saying if you're in the stands,
sure,
the guy that questions every play call,
yeah, you don't need that.
Can we stop doing that?
You don't need that. Why are you running on 3rd and 6?
It's really close to being the guy that yells, "Call the touchdown play."
Yeah.
Can we just not do that? That's really annoying, and that's something I had forgotten about, guys.
Well, look, man, they're still out there. But overall, great. I thought it was a great performance, guys. I'm not going to let you shouldn't let a couple play calls. Because, as Jeff has pointed out, Notre Dame has clearly got a better roster, a much better roster, and it came down to 2 kicks. So you can say the coaching staff let them down. I would say the previous 2 coaching staffs let some of those kids down.
And the one at the end of his successful regime let him down.
Is kind of trying to build them back up and got them into a place where they were in overtime against the top 10 team.
All right, here we go. With all the positive reaction from recruits after the game, what are the chances the 22 class ends up being the class that turns it all around? Multiple 5 stars and high 4 stars are committed. That's from Kevin.
Could be.
I think so. I think it's that was of vital importance the other night. Yeah. Not only an incredible atmosphere that they got to witness and feel and be a part of, but also the team played quite well, and we're in there till the very end. You send a top 10 team to overtime.
I think I said it. Did I say it on this show about you don't have to point to 2014 to say that's what dope looks like? We do so many shows now.
Yeah,
it's hard to remember when I say what, but yeah, you get those guys. Those kids experienced what dope can be like. They didn't have to go watch a VHS tape or a YouTube clip. They got to feel it. That's of utter importance.
Now, one note real quick to the other part of that. You did note, Marlon, and I appreciate the question, that they blew the assignment on the tight end on the 4th down play. They got the call in late. I don't know who was responsible for that, but they were out of sorts early there. There's no doubt they were, and they got the call in late. But you really didn't see much of that the rest of the game.
I was kind of thinking maybe a defensive timeout might have been, which nobody ever wants to call a defensive timeout, but that I was thinking that might have helped because they were confused.
Yeah, they were definitely confused, and that's not a good excuse, but I don't think a guy just blew the assignment. The call came in late, and next thing. And by the way, again, that tight end is going to do that to a lot of people. He's really freaking good.
Well, we would have scored on that one.
I'm not talking about the effort. I'm saying that guy's game, 9 catches, 100 whatever yards.
For real, do you think if I catch the pass where he caught it?
No, you get caught.
Where, at the 3?
About the 10.
I mean, come on.
I'm not giving you that much credit.
Come on. Would you have scored?
Oh, easily.
If I get to the 10, where does Ira get? The 26?
Ira's kind of sneaky quick.
Oh, is he get in the end zone?
No, he gets caught.
Okay, I was going to say, I feel like
I would drop kick somebody on my way.
Yeah, I feel like all 3 of us score on that one. That's how open he was.
He'd go down swinging, drop kicking people. Ira, you'd be my favorite player. You'd be everybody's favorite player.
Anybody gets stiff arm.
Yeah,
kick somebody in the chest.
Give him a stiff leg.
Connor,
what are they going to do? Is there a rule against it?
No.
You can't kick somebody in the chest?
There's no rule I've ever seen.
Connor writes, and he gave us a tip in doing so. Appreciate that, Connor. Has the DeMaury Tate ship sailed?
Hey, well, I wouldn't say
early,
that,
buddy. It's early.
It's too early, but he is. He doesn't seem to be in their immediate plans for playing time.
I mean, he sat out all last year, and then he was hurt in the spring. So we're gonna give him a mulligan on.
He's been out there practice lately, so
practice.
you know he's been practicing. They'll get some guys back. I mean, when you have an injury, I don't know. I'm not so fast to write guys off. Let's get another. Well, actually, let's take a break. Come back, wrap it up with another question in a moment. Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
Is your business interested in exploring safe, secure, remote access capabilities for your employees? Not sure whether to go with a Mac or with a Windows system? Call the folks at Mac & More Systems, and they can give you the guidance to make the best decision for your needs. Visit macandmoresystems.com today.
Let's be honest, we all have way too much stuff. Maybe your storage closet is full, your garage is full, or the guest bedroom is a mess. Call Southeast Portable Buildings, 580-6400, or visit them online at southeastportablebuildings.com.
See Nice Tire and Auto Service at 4792 Bluntstown Highway today. The ASC trained technicians at Nice take the guesswork out of fixing your car. That's why wherever you see the Goodyear sign, you'll find what you want in tires and service. From preventative maintenance to a major overhaul and everything in between, you name it. Plus, Nice's services are backed by a nationwide limited warranty. Stop by Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, just west of Capitol Circle.
What's important when shopping at a gun store? Let's start with a friendly and knowledgeable staff. Then add top-notch service, great selection and pricing, and a personal shopping experience only found at a locally owned and operated business. At Red Hills Arms, they're right on target. While other gun stores come and go, Red Hills Arms remains Tallahassee's go-to local gun store for all your firearms needs. Stop by today and get welcomed in like family.
When the forgotten poor are in need of healing, they wait for a ship unlike any other. Mercy Ships, a floating hospital staffed by volunteers, heroes of mercy who donate their time to save lives.
Every human has the right to have a place at the table of the human race.
If you could just see the smiles that you get when lives have been changed, then it would make it all worth it.
To learn more about Heroes of Mercy, go to mercyships.org.
You went online to switch your car insurance to Progressive so you could save money, but then you saw a friend request from an old summer camp buddy. And now here you are, clicking through photos of his kickball team from 2011. Oh, looks like they won the championship that year. Then he moved to Tulsa. Oh, a new tattoo. Yes, they said it was easy to save hundreds on car insurance with Progressive, but they forgot about the rest of the internet. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. National average savings by new customer surveyed who saved in 2019.
If you weren't the owner of Gordo's and all those wonderful restaurants, Eddie, what would you be doing?
You know, I think I'd want to be I don't know what I'd want to be, a boat captain or a cowboy.
You know how to use a lasso?
No.
You'd have to do that if you were a cowboy.
Yeah, but I've never even been on a horse. It's not my place to be on a horse.
I agree. And the horse thanks you. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
You'll both like this one. Eric asks or notices, I notice every time Corey does a video outside of Doak, he's constantly looking around over his shoulder, etc. See, kind of shifty-like. Does he owe a loan shark money? Is he worried about some shady character coming to collect? I'm worried about you, brother.
I get that. What's happening is there are these odd noises of people walking down the sidewalk that I'm like, okay, are they about to walk in the middle of our shot? Like, they seem so oblivious because it is 2 a.m. after a big game. That's what I'm looking at. I know it looks like I'm looking over my shoulder for the man to come, but yes, that's usually what it is. It's a weird noise. It's a lot of weird stuff.
You're a little jumpy, buddy. You're a little jumpy.
I'm definitely a little jumpy, but I'm also worried that, I don't want to be out there another 45 minutes higher.
I think Aslan's got our back, though. He's behind the camera. He can see everything. Yeah,
he's got his
he'll
head
let
on
us
a swivel,
know.
And I'm not great.
Get down!
Like, I'm worried about you. Like, if you were in the indoor practice facility and you got TJ up there playing Iron Maiden, I don't know that you could run the offense.
No, and I was going to say I would be the quarterback that looks at the rush. I'm not keeping my eyes downfield. I'm not, and you should hear something. You should go back and there's definitely one instance in that post game wrap up where I'm just saying words. None of them make sense.
No, I could.
They don't go together.
That's when I turned it off.
They don't. it's just like a noun with none of it made sense.
You were
It's
rattled.
Just
You were
straight
rattled.
up word salad, and then I got my mind right.
You were Jordan Travis the first couple.
Yeah,
series.
it was ugly.
It's odd that you bring up Iron Maiden. Shockingly, they released a new record recently, and it's good.
Really?
I was stunned.
So Run to the Hills Part 2.
No, but it's really good. You'd be surprised. You turn it on, you're like, this is fun.
All right.
I
Hey,
never
that's
thought this
fun.
would happen.
That's crazy.
Here we go.
You listen to Iron Maiden.
Oh, I found out that the album was released just because I was reading another article, and I went, Maiden released a new album? Let's hear it. And then I'm
then
like
there you
6
go.
songs in, so I'm like,
Okay.
this bitch is good.
Were you a
What do we-
T-shirt guy back in the day? Concert T-shirt
Oh,
guy?
yeah. I had them from every show I went to. It didn't matter the genre either. I had a shirt for
Like they
everybody.
cost like $20 back then, and
Oh.
it felt like a lot of money.
It-
Now they're like $80.
Oh, they just bend you over at these shows. It's unbelievable. All right, here we go. Ryan writes, fellas, seeing the impact Johnson and Thomas made and our lack of defensive line depth, does Norvell go to the transfer portal again until we can get guys like Kelly and Jones Jr. on the roster?
That's always a part of that's college football now anyway, but it's especially a part when you're still building a program. You got those guys as 1-year rentals. You're going to need a couple other 1-year rentals next year. Hopefully of that same caliber. That might be tough to do, but hopefully of that same caliber.
But it was nice to
as
see,
the other guys grow up.
and it was nice to see like Quayshawn Fuller. I mean, that looked
Yeah,
like
man,
that,
what was that about? That Quayshawn Fuller like 2-snap stretch was.
Well, he was going against the backup tackle.
But I mean,
but he
it
did what he
hasn't
was supposed to
mattered.
do.
It looked like Renard Wilson.
Justin writes, Dennis Briggs was curiously absent from the stat sheet Sunday night. Curse of the hammer for that ass.
Yeah, he didn't put up a great game statistically.
Curse of the hammer.
But I think he'll be all right. I think he'll be okay. I think he might have played well doing his job.
I love our listeners. Any chance the backup 4- and 5-star players at UGA want to continue to transfer to Florida
man.
State? That's from Brett.
Yeah, I tweeted that. Of course, some people don't get sarcasm, but I tweeted that. Like, imagine what Georgia's defense would have done to Clemson if they still had Jermaine Johnson. And then, of course, somebody tweets at me, they already held him to 3 points. I'm like, I know, man. It was a joke. Like, Clemson couldn't do anything against a Jermaine Johnson-less defense.
But good for him, man. That kid bet on himself.
Yeah, man.
And I mean, he, by all accounts, great teammate. You loved him when you got to spend time with him in the spring.
I did love him, and I still love him, and I love him even more after Sunday night. That kid right there is productive. He leads. He's intense. He'll hit your ass. He'll tell you about it. He's nasty. I love him.
Yeah. And the other number 11 on offense might have a little something to him, too.
He's going to be a big time.
Yeah,
Malik
he
McClain's
had
the
some
real
great
deal.
blocks, and that one, I know it was only one catch, and it was a little
you can see
drag
it, though.
route, but you saw a little juice in there when he was doing that.
I also want to really quickly, before I forget to do it before the end of the show, and we've still got a few minutes left to answer some more questions, but I want to thank Eric and Connor. They tipped us on the show.
Nice.
Today.
Thanks,
Can't
Eric
get to
and Connor.
everybody, but we
E-Dog and
really
C-Money.
appreciate that.
Hey, Quayshawn could join the Sean Gone gang.
No, man, it's just for running backs, Ira. You
But-
can't just
but he
start
gets off the
throwing
line.
random Seans in there. It's 2. It's only 2.
Guys, we got to stop this. You're not keeping that one. We're going to move on from that one. I want you to get it together and do a better one. You're better than this. I don't know. Guys, I think we're getting a lot of repeats here.
Go back to Twitter.
It's too late in the game, Ira. Just stick with Facebook.
Rob is correctly pointing out that the quarterback for Notre Dame did not look just like a game manager on Sunday night.
No.
But his QB play, how our secondary gave up so many yards, or that despite he's a real passer now hype, Travis didn't look like he made the leap as reported. No, he didn't. It's a fair observation if you're a fan and you've listened to the camp reports, and I assure you he played very well in camp. He didn't look like that guy. I think my biggest disappointment on the night, besides the missed kick at the end, which is unfortunate, is that I went into this game hoping that we would see a big step forward for Jordan Travis. He may still do it. I'm not giving up on him, but he did look an awful lot like last year's Jordan Travis.
I want to see
that's disappointing.
I want to see what he looks like this week and next week, and then we'll have a better idea of what he is.
I think you could. I mean, I know it would still only be 8 games at that point, but if he looks what he looked like, if he looks against Wake Forest, assuming he's playing some in that game, like he did a lot of that Notre Dame game, you might just say, okay, this isn't going to be part of his game. He is not going to be a guy that sees it quickly, gets it out of his hands quickly. That's not what he does.
Adjust. Yeah.
But judging it just from the season opener against that defense in that setting, to me seems a little early, a little too early to judge.
Mm-hmm.
Let's give him these next 2 games, and then I think it's fair after that. I don't think you'd be like, he's only a sophomore. He's only 8 games. I mean, at some point, you are what you are. And I think we'll have a much better grasp of who he is for sure. And you can win with him even if he can't do all that stuff. He's shown he can put up points even if he isn't a traditional drop back and throw quarterback.
Got to give Phillip credit. He writes, shout out from Japan. I've been listening since
go.
2 a.m.
Let's go, Phil.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
It's on the feed right here. He's
Since
2
2
listening.
a.m.
Go to bed,
Shout
Philip.
out.
Go to
Yeah.
bed, Philip.
My man.
Get some
Well,
rest.
Lucky for you, the show's over in about a minute or two.
It's time to go to bed. Catch some Z's.
Get some Z's. Yeah, I've always wanted to go to Japan.
Well,
Kind
look
of
up
jealous,
Philip.
Philip, will you house me if I ride into?
Have you been to Asia at all?
No.
What about your friends in the Peace Corps? You never?
Oh,
gone to, you never gone to visit them?
It was pricey. It was pricey. I got asked to speak in Tajikistan by them.
Well,
yeah, I did.
Bro, that makes sense.
You've been
Why-
invited to
well, everybody.
Tajikistan.
We've all been invited to speak in Tajikistan.
Tajikistan, and
That's what I said.
And I got offered to go when
What were you going to speak about?
when they were there. Well, it was actually they're doing a thing on communication, all this other stuff. But it would have been fun to go, and I had planned on going. But then some things happened, and frankly, it was like $5,000. So we were like, nah.
That's not. I mean, you can't
I
go
could-
to Tajikistan. Is it Tajikistan?
Tajikistan, yeah,
I
could've
could
gone.
see you go on the Brockmire route.
They've also been
like
to
just falling off
Uzbekistan.
the face of the planet.
Oh,
Yeah, you could end up.
whatever happened?
You could
Jeff
be-
went to Tajikistan.
He's
fell in love,
broadcasting
and got
cricket
Yeah.
in Tajikistan.
I did explore an option of doing an American football show in Ireland. And this was like 8 years ago. And I would have taken that job. I would have taken that job. There was a ad for in the trades, if you will, Ira. They wanted somebody who housed a talk show about American football. And I would have been in Shannon, Ireland. Fine, I've been to Shannon. I'd rather be in Dublin. But either way, and I would have taken that job for the right money.
But you would have lost out on this.
Yeah, you can't do some headlines
The
from Ireland.
choices we make. It
Yeah.
turns out to be all right.
You don't know Sean Gons in soccer in Ireland.
Yeah, you ain't gonna have that.
That's true.
You ain't gonna have that.
Good job, Matthew. Good job, Tom. For Corey, for Ira, I'm Jeff. Thanks to all of you for listening and watching and commenting and asking questions.
Stop hitting the mic.
beating
Sorry.
on the damn mic.
Sorry, I forget people can hear that.
How could you forget that?
Hey,
It's a mic.
I'm an amateur.
Oh, good God. There you go. Do that. All right. Be good, everybody. We'll talk to you next time. And yeah, go Noles.